Mic check, mic check, mic check, mic check. We are back in the area. Earz to the Streets TV live. We are live streaming, that is. And on this live stream, we will be streaming the Atlanta Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis. Now, Fani Willis has become a star in the Atlanta area. For one, because she is the DA that is prosecuting Young Thug in YSL as we speak, which we have been covering that trial and everything. It was on slow motion. It started back Wednesday, but when they started back, they reviewed some evidence of a 911 call that it took them a little while to do that. So we'll be going over that. And today they made a little bit more progress. So we'll go over what went on today also. But we'll just wait till Friday to kind of get it all in a sweep instead of going one by one. But not to get off topic, excuse me. We're going over Fani Willis having to testify in a hearing about what her role was in a relationship, because she is also famous for bringing state charges on Donald Trump for his role in the 2020 election, saying that he tried to steal the election. What's good, Moose? So, being that he tried to steal the election in Georgia, Fani Willis has been brave enough to try to prosecute him in Georgia. Now, the only problem is the special prosecutor that Fani Willis assigned to Trump's case, she was fucking him. She was fucking him, y'all.
What?
Yeah, I said that right. So the guy that she appointed to be Trump's investigator, special prosecutor, I meant, not investigator, she had a relationship with him, and there's a little question whether it was before or after. Either way it go, it looks kind of funny. Now, in this, she's not on trial right here. So, as you're going to notice, she's going to be real spicy in this thing. Now, this whole ordeal lasted about 7 hours. So, of course, we can't sit here and go over 7 hours. So, but I do kind of want to hear what the man said and what Fani said. Now, I listened to some of what Fani said, and man, I ain't gonna lie, man, that shit was content gold, to be honest. Oh, let me turn my volume up a little bit. I don't know if it's acting up on my volume right now. Hold up. Let me go ahead and get my volume thing on deck. This thing started going crazy for me. Man, I done forgot where my volume at. Why I was changing that shit at yesterday. Okay, but like I said, with Fani Willis, man, she's got a lot going on. So she's gonna I'm kind of debating what parts I should play of hers and the other dude. So I'm gonna try to play a little bit of both. The guy that they were saying that she was sleeping with and her version of it. And we'll go from there. So y'all make sure y'all hit the like button. I was just stalling a little bit so we can get everybody in here that's interested in the topic. And we can go ahead and get started now. Uh-oh. What did I do? Okay, here it is. All right, and hopefully my microphone won't keep going up and down, up and down. But if it do, I'll be here to know what to do to switch it around. So let's get into this Fani Willis testimony. Well, before we get to her testimony, we're going to listen to a little bit of this, brother. We got to. We got to listen to a little bit of this, brother. See the kind of questions they ask him. And see his character, too. Court in recess. Court to decide Fani Willis DA stays on Trump case. So this is, like I say, this is just to decide if they're going to be able to stay on Trump's case.
Ms. Cross.
I object to the relevance of that. That's clearly not that's
the number of.
Now here's another woman. I'm not sure what her role was, but they also questioned her, and I believe there's another man that got questioned questioned also. So I particularly want to hear the question of the dude she had the relationship with and her. But let's find out who all the players are.
Why does that need to be in camera?
Doesn't necessarily. Well, there's statements that could be made that could be prejudicial depending on whether they were covered or not, and whether he's going to break the.
So at the time a question is asked that you think implicates some of those statements, object, and we'll handle it.
Thank you, Judge.
Judge, on behalf of Mr. Bradley, and I apologize, this is not our proceeding, but it might be helpful to have a brief sidebar.
Dinner
as
is
opposed to something
served.
in chambers, at least so that we could let the court know our position rather than having to restate it repeatedly.
And Judge, I've carefully crafted my questions to avoid any privileged information. But if they think that I'm invading that, then I welcome an objection, and I'm happy to address it.
Let's see how it goes. And again, Mr. Bradley, I'll ask if you can just give a pause in between each question to allow counsel the opportunity to object before answering.
Thank you, Judge. Was the witness sworn, or do I need to swear the witness?
I believe he was.
Great, thank you. I'm sorry. Good morning, Mr. Bradley. How are you?
Good morning.
Not happy to be here, I'm assuming.
I am not.
Okay, I understand. Thank you for being here.
Wasn't by choice.
Right. You were subpoenaed to come and testify in this case.
I was.
Okay. But you and I have spoken previously about relevant facts surrounding Mr. Wade and Ms. Willis's relationship.
No, we have not.
Now, I don't know who this dude is. I'm only going to listen to a little bit of it just to find out what part he playing in this whole situation.
We've not texted about those facts?
Through a third party, you were given some information. You and I shared text. Our texts were more so about my health, more so about if I was okay with what was going on, that I would not be, whether or not I was going to be subpoenaed or not, and that and called as text chain show. We talked about my health or other things, but not this, no.
Okay. Did you text me about Wade and Willis taking many trips together?
I object. Well,
Mr. Brown,
so-
there's been an objection.
One, I'm going to object as it relates to attorney-client privilege. Two, I'm going to object because I haven't seen the text message that she's attempting to impeach the witness with. And two, he's made all of his representations is that he's had zero communication as it relates to the issues.
So I wonder if he the one that was snitching. So he must have been the one that told him, hey, those two fucking. Because she said, did you send me some text?
That Ms. Merchant continues to ask about, and that the only information that she has from him is through a third party, which would be hearsay.
Ms. Merchant.
Judge, it's not hearsay.
Yeah, knowledge. I think he's the one who snitched. Yeah, I think he's the one who snitched on her.
We've had these conversations. If I need to take the stand, I will. If I need to put my phone into evidence, I will.
So the first objection was to privilege on behalf of the state.
Oh, I'm sorry, I did not respond to
Sure.
that. Thank you, Judge. Privilege is only communications that are made in furtherance of legal advice. There's been no showing that whether or not they took a trip to California or took a trip, or that Mr. Bradley and I talked about that, either in person or by text, that's privileged. I'm not asking for any communications that Mr. Wade might have made to Mr. Bradley in furtherance of any legal advice.
All right, and Mr. Abadi, I believe as the one asserting privilege, it would be your burden to show the necessary foundation there. Is that something you want to voir dire the witness on or take up here on this specific question?
Well, no, I'd also object to foundation grounds. She has not provided any his answers were asked.
Do object and when the question.
And so far, though, I haven't heard anything about a relationship, about an attorney-client relationship, about a privilege ever attaching. And I think that's going to need to be established before we can actually determine the scope of it and whether this falls inside or out of it. So I think either Ms. Merchant can take the lead if she wants to, but my understanding was that generally has to fall on the person who's asserting the privilege.
Except for the attorney is not authorized to violate that privilege, or else he has in fact violated the bar rules, which we have an opinion regarding from someone.
Hey man, this is the whitest I ever seen a court in Atlanta. I ain't lying. But that's because, you know, they fighting for Trump right now.
The state bar of Georgia.
All right.
That's why I thought perhaps the sidebar might be important rather than my interjecting.
Well, I still want to kind of see how we can go. So, Ms. Merchant, it sounds like you're going to need to lay a little bit more foundation to see whether this actually is going to fall under privilege or not.
That's not a problem, Judge. And what I can do, I was just told that Ms. Yerdy's in the waiting room, but I can, if the state wants to read my text, if Mr. Bradley wants to read them to refresh his memory, I have absolutely no problem with that. I have my phone here, and they're welcome to do that. But I'll talk about some other things, and then maybe if they're going to have a lot of objections to privilege and hearsay, what I can do is I can lay a so we can controversial then.
28.
Okay. And did you all?
Probably 19.
When did you and Mr. Wade first meet?
So Mr. Wade probably gonna be his homeboy. They probably used to be homeboys. And just like always, he found out his homeboy was getting the pussy and he wanted the pussy. So he started snitching. That's how it always go down. Ladies, y'all got something powerful, man. Had a man fighting over it.
Probably 1998.
Okay. And did you all have a law firm together?
We did.
Okay. When did that firm start?
Probably, I think it was 2010. We started exclusively working together as a firm, operating as a firm.
Okay. And were you all actually incorporated as a firm?
Not initially, no. He had, when I passed the bar and I hung with shingle in 07, I think he had been practicing a few years prior to that. He had his own firm. We had two separate firms.
Okay. At some point, did you all incorporate, though, together?
We did.
Okay. Do you remember about when that was?
I do not at this particular moment, no, ma'am. I'm sorry.
Okay. Do you remember if it was administratively dissolved?
I've been made aware that it's been administratively dissolved. Yes, I left the firm around 2 years ago.
When did you leave the firm?
August of 2022, I think it was.
August of 2022. Okay.
Or it was either August or September of 2022.
Okay. August, September. Let me make a note. So in October 2019, were you all incorporated as a firm?
I think we were, maybe.
Okay.
Yes.
And when Mr. Wade filed for divorce November 1st or 2nd, 2021, were you all incorporated as a firm?
We should have been. I'm thinking that we were. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. When did Mr. Wade come to you to file the divorce action in Cobb County?
No, that's privileged information.
The timing and the beginning of the privilege, I don't believe that is overruled.
So he's a partner, and it looked like he filed a divorce for the dude, Mr. Wade. Now, Mr. Wade is the special prosecutor for Trump, being assigned by Fani Willis. and he's gonna testify himself. So they used to be partners. Cool. So he gonna have all the inside scoop, apparently.
So the timing was around 2018.
Okay.
And it was probably December of 2018. I remember it specifically because I was building a house, and I noticed that he wasn't wearing his ring. I asked him about it.
Hold on, man. That's some female shit. Like, oh, I see you ain't wearing your ring. What's going on with you? Nigga, mind your motherfucking business. We business partners. Unless they was bunkie partners, too. What kind of man asks another man why he ain't wearing his wedding ring? You too much of my damn business, homie.
I had invited him to the house because I was having not a housewarming, but people over. And he wasn't wearing his ring. I inquired about it. From there, we discussed what would happen. And we discussed the divorce and what would happen.
What would happen with the divorce?
What would happen over me representing him for the divorce, and when he would want to do it, yes.
When did he retain you?
Well, my memory would be 2018,
okay,
when he consulted with me about the divorce and told me what he would like to see done and when he wanted to do it.
Do you know when Fani Willis and Nathan Wade met?
Specific dates, no. I know it was sometime at a conference.
Municipal court conference?
Correct.
Okay. And October 2019, if it's been represented in the state's pleadings before, that's when they met. Does that sound familiar?
If that's what they're saying, then absolutely. I know it was at a conference in 2000. I mean, it was at a conference. If you say it's 2019, I'll take you at your word. Okay.
So it was what you're sure of, though, is it was at a municipal courts judges conference?
Yes.
When they were both municipal court judges?
Yes.
So it's fair to say, since she became the district attorney, she was no longer a municipal court judge. So it had to have been before that.
That they met?
Yes.
Yes.
And he was teaching a class at that seminar, as far as you know?
I'm going to object this to leading at this point. She has no direct.
Was he teaching a class at this seminar?
To my knowledge, he was.
And was Ms. Willis, to your knowledge, attending this seminar?
Your Honor, I'm going to object. He has no personal knowledge. He wasn't present at the municipal court training.
But they put it in their pleadings. Like, we are going to be here all day.
We are going to be here all day.
All right. If you can establish that he would have some personal knowledge, then that's a fair question. So if you just need to preface it with that, then that's fine.
Thank you. Are you aware of when their romantic relationship began?
Your Honor, I'm going to object. That relates to privilege. She says that he began representing Mr. Wade in 2018. He met Ms. Willis in 2019. That's clearly within the bounds of attorney-client privilege.
I think there's understood, Mr. Vadi. So I think, Ms. Merchant, you need to qualify that question.
Thank you. I'm not asking you to tell me what Nathan Wade told you in furtherance of legal advice. Okay, so I want to be very clear. If he told you something asking you legal advice, I'm not asking you about that. I'm asking about what you observed, what you saw, and what you knew outside of what he told you when he was specifically seeking legal advice. Okay?
This is too far afield. I apologize. I object again on behalf of Mr. Bradley. He's asserting that there.
Hey, because y'all know it was alleged, right, that Fanny was fucking with Nut, the dude that's in YSL, that this YSL Rico started behind. And that's why she's hell-bent on getting Young Thug. That's the rumor. I know Fanny is a lawyer, so don't sue me. That's alleged. That's alleged. That Nut was, you know what I'm saying, tapping that Fanny. And that's why she was hell-bent on getting Young Thug because he killed her boo. And then next thing you know, she started, smashing on this lawyer, try to get over her old boo. Yeah, for real. Now, I ain't making that up, hey, yo. That's dead ass serious. You ask anybody from Atlanta. I don't know, yeah, you should. Yeah, you from Atlanta, you in the area. You should have heard that, I ain't pulled it out within the YSL trial because, it was just a rumor. But, I should at least threw the rumor out there, I guess. I'm just a YouTuber, so I could do that. But yeah, that's why she going after Young Thug so hard. She was fucking Nut, and she told Nut mama that she was gonna get them. That she was gonna guarantee that she was gonna get Young Thug. Whoever was responsible for that man murder. Why you think they more worried about another gang member than they is, the kid that got shot in the crossfire that? Oh yeah. Because that dude Woody, he was fucking one of the police officers. And they catch all kind of police officers down there at the jailhouse fucking them niggas. So
There's an attorney-client privilege associated with this case under Rule 1.6 for him to draw any inference, make any statements, or any other proffer of information after this relationship began between attorney and client December of 2018 would be improper, and he would in fact be violating the rules of ethics associated with it.
So they're hiding behind attorney-client privilege. That's what it's seeming like.
His bar license.
So the way the question was phrased was just saying, what did he personally observe outside of the relationship, not involving communications? How does that fall within attorney-client privilege?
Your Honor, whether we like it or not, when we have a client, there are a number of items associated with that relationship between attorney and client that come within your purview and that lead you to further action, lead you to further investigation, further questions, develops your strategy. We can't talk about Mr. Wade on any level. It would be inappropriate. The divorce was filed sometime thereafter. During that entire interlude, any of these issues could in fact have formed the basis for their relationship to remain privileged.
Ms. Merchant?
Judge, his observations are not privileged. That's not what the privilege law says. And I can read you the attorney-client privilege attaches where, and this is the law, this is the rule. There's an attorney-client relationship. The communications in question relate to the matters on which legal advice was sought. And the communications have been maintained in confidence, and there's no exceptions to the privilege. First, on number two, the second prong. This was not in furtherance of legal advice. That's not in furtherance of legal advice. What he witnesses as a human being is not in furtherance of legal advice. Unless, and if he witnesses them together, it would get rid of the attorney-client privilege because Ms. Willis is there. Additionally, though, exceptions. We can go all day about exceptions to this. Fraud to the court, that's an exception. Mr. Wade, we contend, has filed a false affidavit with this court. That is fraud to the court. If this witness has direct knowledge that that is not true, then that's an exception to attorney-client privilege.
But does that
You understood that that was the situation.
there?
A law firm together.
We did.
Controlled by case law and statute, which
I think that really needs much in the way of foundation.
And Judge, I apologize, Your Honor, to talk over the court. That information, however, Your Honor, is my understanding came from Mr. Bradley, and that information was incorrect, as I informed the court earlier this week as well. There was never any time that Ms. Yurdy and Ms. Willis lived together. There was a sublet of a condo that Ms. Willis resided in that had absolutely nothing to do with that of Ms. Yardy outside of Ms. Yardy subletting it to Ms. Willis. Ms. Yardy actually moved into a different residence. Per our conversation with Ms. Merchant yesterday, that is exactly what it is. So there was no overlapping or any time that they stayed together, nor does Ms. Yardy have any information as it relates to Mr. Wade staying at that condo as well with that of Ms. Willis. So again, Judge, I'm renewing.
No, we don't need to hear it again. Ms. Merchant.
Judge, luckily I don't have to tell the state or them everything that I plan on introducing a witness for in response to their motion to quash. She has a lot of personal knowledge. And when we had a motion to quash, I had to get over a good faith basis, and I presented that to the court. I did not spend 4 hours going through everything that this woman's going to testify to. She has personal knowledge.
Is she actually here?
I think she's on Zoom. What I understand, Mr. Partridge.
Mr. Partridge, is your client with us?
She's on the Zoom platform, Your Honor, since I'm in Richmond County via my conflict. But she is on the Zoom platform at this time, Your Honor, in the waiting room.
Okay, so they got another woman that they claiming got personal knowledge. I don't really know what this dude said, but I don't think he said nothing too important. Besides, he used to work with old boy, and he probably told about a couple of text messages or whatever. But we ain't gonna waste a whole bunch of time on him. We want to get to the big dogs. We want to get to Fanny, and we want to get the nigga that was smacking Fanny. But we want to see a little bit what she say, this girl right here.
Via my conflict, but she is on the Zoom screen.
Examine her
Any
body.
Sixth Amendment objections to
Sure.
it. That's fine.
My only objection would be what she learned from Terrence Bradley, and we know that is false. It's not true. So there is no good faith basis, and we would renew our objection and to quash the subpoena.
That was not in.
So this lady, she must have heard from old boy. Let's see. I think she was old boy assistant. So they owned the firm together, and she probably was his assistant. So that's probably why he's saying what she learned is probably from him. But let's see.
Regards to Miss Yurdy.
It certainly was. It was at like the 20-minute mark in the hearing.
Judge, she has personal knowledge of this relationship.
It's not what was represented on Monday. The personal knowledge came from Mr. Bradley. She has no good faith basis to explore this fishing expedition as it relates to Miss Yurdy. This is a blatant misuse of the process.
Ms. Merchant, I do believe that when we went through the motion to quash, there were you grouped them into two categories, and each one of them we said that they were going to be impeached by Mr. Bradley.
We took Miss Yurdy outside of Fulton County, Judge. So we talked about Fulton County differently than Miss Yurdy. We took Miss Yurdy out separately. She was different than Fulton County because there wasn't other issues. And again, so we're arguing a motion to quash. I responded to their argument on the motion to quash. Middle name is Latrice? No, I didn't tell them everything she's going to testify to. I don't, like, if you wanted me to, I could have. But that has nothing to do. There is a witness that contradicts what they have said in court. And they're doing everything they can to keep her off the stand and keep the truth away from this court. They filed a motion to quash. I showed a good faith basis. If my good faith basis is Mr. Bradley or Miss Yurdy or texts I've seen, it's still a good faith basis. There's no law that says I have to tell them every single good faith basis I have ahead of time. If we did, we would never have trials.
All right, Ms. Merchant. Appreciate the argument of counsel. I think the standard on a motion to quash and a subpoena is not one where we're required to completely flush out and litigate every reason a witness may be relevant. And so we'll take these one at a time with Ms. Yurdy. I'll deny the motion to quash. And if your election and to proceed in your presentation of the evidence is to call her, then that's what we'll do.
Thank you, Judge. So, Mr. Bradley, you may be excused for now. Thank you, but subject to recall. We would call Ms. Yurdy.
That's what a judge is for, to make those tough calls. That wasn't a bad call. Let the lady call up whoever the fuck she want to call up.
Would you like?
Deputy Scott, if we could swear in the witness. Ms. Yurdy, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
All right.
Raise your right hand, ma'am.
Oh boy, this ATL black woman here.
You swear affirm to the testimony that you give a court will be the truth, nothing but the truth will help you.
Yes.
Would you please state and spell your full name for the court?
Robin Latrice Yodi.
Thank you, Ms. Yurdy. Thank you for being here. Can you tell the judge when you first met Ms. Willis?
In college.
Okay.
So 19.
Oh shit. So this is one of her homegirls. Now I know, Fanny, I know one of your homegirls ain't snitch on you. Y'all been thotting since college?
Probably 90 or 91.
Okay. And have you been friends since 1990 or 91?
Yes.
Okay. When was the last time you spoke with Ms. Willis?
March of 2022.
Okay. From 1991-ish till 2022, were you what you would consider good friends with Ms. Willis?
Yes.
Okay. And did you all share personal information regularly?
Yes.
And did you even come and work with her at the DA's office?
Yes.
And when she needed a place to stay, did you let her stay at your apartment?
Yes.
It was a condo, right?
Condo, yes.
Okay. Do you remember approximately when she moved into your condo?
It was April of 2021.
Okay, great. And you know that Miss Willis and Miss Wade met at a conference in October.
Oh shit. She had to crash with her before Fani got on, boy. She was on her last leg. Oh shit, y'all know what I did? I done fucked around and probably started a live on the same page again. Damn, I keep doing that shit. Okay, if y'all was up, I keep starting a live on 2 lives at the same damn time.
Of 2019.
I'm going to object to that, Your Honor, without a foundation for how this witness would know that. If Ms. Merchant can establish she has personal information of that, then certainly that's something the witness can testify to. But if it's she heard
Understood,
it
Ms. Cross. All right, Ms. Merchant, if you could lay the foundation.
Do you have information that Ms. Willis and Mr. Wade met in October of 2019?
I'm going to renew my objection, Your Honor. Information is not sourced to personal information. If the question can be rephrased, then that may address my concern.
So Judge, I just want to make sure that I understand. So they've objected to me calling Willis and Wade.
It's just a matter of foundation. If you can just rephrase.
Do you have knowledge of when Willis and Wade met?
I'm going to object again. Personal knowledge.
Overruled.
Thank you. Do you have personal knowledge of when Willis and Wade met?
Yes. She told me that they met at a conference. I don't know what.
Okay.
I'm going to renew my objection, Your Honor. Clearly, this is not firsthand information from this witness.
For real, not even I know this. That's speculation. You can't tell me about what somebody told you. She told me they met at a conference. I don't give a damn what somebody told you. She could have just lied to you. This is the main live. I accidentally started the other live. I can't. What it was is I had my main setting on my OBS. I had it set for my gaming setting, and I had my regular YouTube as my backup. And every time I end a live, it automatically starts that one where it clicks on where it starts up with the new live. So I forgot to unclick it. So it sometimes it just be small stuff that I forget to do. But yeah. Hopefully everybody come over here and nobody wasn't over there still. Hold on real quick for me.
It's hearsay that was.
But she said she told me.
Yes, it's statement against interest, Judge. If Ms. Willis...
Just pause.
I'm sorry.
Okay, Ms.
Yes.
Cross.
The representation of the witness, the testimony of the witness was that Ms. Willis, District Attorney Willis, had a conversation with her. There is no statement against interest. District Attorney Willis is not a party opponent in this case. The information that the witnesses testified to came from Ms. Willis, and we have a hearsay objection to that.
Why wouldn't she be considered a party opponent in this context?
She is a representative of the state, Your Honor. This isn't private litigation or civil litigation. Obviously, the court's aware this is. Ms. Willis is not on trial. Ms. Willis is not a party to the litigation outside her obligation to pursue criminal charges for the state.
Ms. Merchant, I guess it's evolved into a hearsay objection.
Yes, Judge, and we plan on calling Ms. Willis to the stand. She's under subpoena, so hearsay will be cured. If there is a hearsay objection as far as that issue. But we do still think that it's a statement against interest. Ms. Willis has filed a document that states that they met at this municipal court conference. So,
Your Honor, I think maybe I can streamline a little bit. State will stipulate that District Attorney Willis and Mr. Wade met in October 2019 at the judicial conference that we've been talking about. There's no reason to get it secondhand from this witness. Well, that's true.
All right, you accept the stipulation, Ms. Merchant?
Yes.
All right.
Am I permitted then to ask questions about that since it's now not hearsay?
If it's just to a stipulation, if it's just to that basic fact, I don't think we need a question, but if there's a follow-up that you think is admissible, go for it.
Ms. Yeardy, you have personal knowledge that Ms. Willis and Mr. Wade began their romantic relationship soon after this time that they met at the municipal court.
I'm going to object to that question. That certainly is a leading question. No foundation has been laid for how this witness would have personal knowledge of that. And until that's happened, the state objects.
Judge,
I think you can do a yes or no and then follow up with how she knows it.
Thank you. Do you know if Ms. Willis and Mr. Wade started dating in October of 2019?
I don't know if it was October of 2019.
Could it possibly be November of 2019?
Could possibly.
Okay. And when we spoke, you said it was shortly after the municipal court conference, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So you know that their relationship, their personal relationship, began shortly after this municipal court conference.
So hold up. We got her homegirl snitching on him. I mean on them. And we got his ex-business partner snitching on them. Snitching to the white woman. Trying to save Trump. Now, how much you think they done slid these niggas? Because both of y'all just talking like y'all just got bought out. Y'all ain't doing this just because y'all good Samaritans. Cut the bullshit.
Yes.
And when I say personal, romantic. I just want to make sure we don't get in an argument over what personal and romantic is later. When I ask you personal, do you take that to mean romantic?
Yes.
Okay. And do you understand it that their relationship began in 2019 and continued until the last time you spoke with her?
Yes.
And you were essentially her best friend during this time, right?
Not best friend, good friend.
Good friend, okay, close friend. And so would you frequently socialize with her?
Yes.
And you saw her at work every day?
Yes.
So you had a chance to see them interact together on a personal level?
Yes.
And so from everything that you saw, heard, witnessed, it's your understanding that they were in a romantic relationship beginning in 2019?
Yes.
And when you left the DA, I'm sorry, let me ask you, you said that Ms. Willis came to live with you in April of 2021, I'm sorry, April 1st, 2020 or 2021?
She didn't live with me. I never lived with her.
Okay, I'm sorry. She took over your lease in April 1st, 2020, correct?
No, 2021.
Okay, I had it both ways, so I'm glad you clarified. So when she took over your lease in April 1st, 2021, it's your understanding she moved out of the house that she was sharing with her father and started staying at the condo?
Yes.
And is it your understanding that that's because she needed to have her own space?
Yes.
Away from her father?
Yes.
Okay. When you
Oh, she a daddy's girl.
left the DA's office, was it, were you fired?
No, I resigned.
You resigned, okay. Just one moment, Joe. Can you tell us why you resigned the DA's office?
The number of things that was happening.
A number of things that were happening, is that what you said, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay.
It was a spiral of things. So, I guess the last straw is I was put in a department that I knew had no knowledge about. Something happened, and I didn't like it. They didn't like it, and that was it.
Okay. Did you have any falling outs with Miss Willis?
Well, we never spoke after that.
You never spoke after that, okay. And so you're, without going into all the painstaking details, there is no doubt in your mind that from 2019 until 2022, Miss Willis and Mr. Wade were in a romantic relationship.
What's the question?
You have no doubt that their romantic relationship was in effect from 2019 until the last time you spoke with her?
No doubt.
Okay. And that's...
Now that sound like that maybe she was talking to old boy and she done stole your dude. Man, Fani done stole her man in the past. Fani done fucked one of her man in the past. She got that look on her face like, yeah, that bitch ain't shit. Y'all ain't spoke ever since. Yeah, that sound like somebody's man got stolen.
It's based on your personal observations and speaking with them and seeing them together and things like that.
Yes.
Okay. No other questions. Thank you. The other folks may have some questions for you, Mr. Yurdy.
Sit down.
You want me to go to the
Okay.
I think, ma'am, let me be very specific. Did you talk with Miss Willis about her romantic relationship with Mr. Wade?
Yes.
Did Miss Willis tell you on more than one occasion that she was engaged in a romantic relationship with Mr. Wade prior to you leaving the district attorney's office?
Did she tell me or did I observe?
I'm saying right now with the tell me.
Yes.
Did she tell you that in the year of 2020?
Yes.
In the year of 2021?
Yes.
Are you certain that Miss Willis told you about the romantic relationship with Mr. Wade prior to November 1st of 2021?
Yes.
Now, did you also have observations of Mr. Wade and Miss Willis together prior to November 1st of 2021?
Yes.
And are those observations, were those in a social setting?
Yes.
And did you observe them do things that are common among people having a romantic relationship?
Yes.
Such as, can you give us an example?
Hugging, kissing, just affection.
All before November 1st of 2021, correct?
Yes.
That's all I have.
Mr. Stocks.
That's all they trying to prove. That they was fucking before she appointed him to be the head district attorney. I mean the lead special prosecutor over Trump's case. That's all they trying to prove right now. And she's pretty much the witness to that.
Ma'am, did I understand
But it's kind of her word against their word.
you to say that there was a
And the same thing with that ex-business partner.
period of time when you and Miss Willis lived together?
No.
Mr. Durham?
No, nothing from me, Your Honor.
Mr. McDougald?
Are you aware of any social trips that Ms. Willis and Mr. Wade took together in 2022?
No.
And are you aware of them in 2020 or 2021 spending the evening together overnight?
No.
No further questions.
Mr. Gillen?
No question.
Mr. McCullough?
I want to start with a couple things. Now, I think you've made it clear that you never lived, and we'll call it the South Fulton address, the South Fulton condo that you were leasing. You never lived at that address with the District Attorney Willis, correct?
Correct.
And never at any time?
Never.
All right. You never observed or have any information about District Attorney Wade and District Attorney Willis and Nathan Wade living together, correct?
Correct.
You don't have any information about that?
No, I don't.
Anybody said that that information was sourced to you, then that's incorrect.
That's incorrect.
Did District Attorney Willis pay rent at that establishment?
Hey, so you can't hear me or you can't hear what they're saying? Are y'all having a problem hearing the audio with them or just me? Now, somebody said, can I turn the volume up? They got their TV up and they can't hear the live.
At that condo while she lived there and you were living elsewhere?
Yes.
Who paid the rent?
She did.
Nathan Wade ever pay the rent?
No.
And you never told anyone otherwise? I didn't hear your answer there, Ms. Yerdy. Did you ever tell anyone otherwise?
No.
All right. So let's talk for a second about your time at the District Attorney's Office. You were disciplined several times in the District Attorney's Office during your employment there, correct?
No.
You weren't written up ever for poor performance, Ms. Yerdy?
Once, not several.
One time you were written up for poor performance. Were you counseled several times about your performance in the District Attorney's Office that was subpar?
No.
Did the District Attorney tell you that your performance was insufficient and that you were going to be fired?
No.
That never happened?
No. Maybe when we went at the end. What's the question?
The question, Ms. Yerdy, was did the District Attorney ever counsel you on your poor performance in the District Attorney's Office prior and inform you that you were going to be fired?
I don't know. You might want to leave out and come right back in. I just checked my volume and everything good on my end. When I just checked it on my other computer screen, I'm pretty balanced. Even my microphone is turned up pretty decent. So back out and come back in. Yep, she was fired, y'all. She was fired, so she might be a little salty because she got fired. Yeah, she might be a little salty because she got fired. And she might have done fucked one of her men in college. Because, Fani was probably light-skinned back then. She a light-skinned, probably was, she probably thought she was the shit back then. She was the dark-skinned friend. Yeah, there's some animosity there.
I don't really know how to answer that.
I'm looking for the truth.
I don't really know how to answer that. I mean, a situation happened that wasn't my fault, and I either was going to resign or be let go. So
you understood that was the situation.
Long time no see. Where you been at, buddy? Earz been live damn near around the clock, man. Where you been at? Man, turn your notifications on, bro. Unsubscribe and subscribe back, man, if you ain't been getting my notification. I've been live around the clock.
Situation. You could resign or you could be let go.
Correct, yes.
You were not welcome to stay.
No.
and the conversation where you were informed that you could resign or you could be fired, that conversation was not the first conversation you had with the district attorney about your poor performance in the office, correct?
Well, it was kind of a spiral, but no.
Yeah, it was. Whatever the situation was.
She said, yeah, it was. Man, bitch, you wasn't doing no work. You thought because y'all was the homegirls from college, you ain't have to do shit. Got your ass fired. Now you up here snitching.
Very fine, counsel. Questions are fine.
Understood, Mr. Stato. Ms. Cross.
Ms. Yurdi, the circumstances of your leaving the district attorney's office ended your friendship with the district attorney Willis, correct?
Yes.
Y'all haven't spoken since?
No.
Got fired. Don't want to talk no more.
All right. I want to talk about the representations that you made here this morning, Ms. Yurdi, about any relationship between District Attorney Willis and Mr. Wade. I want you to tell me what was the first time let me ask it this way. You said that District Attorney Willis personally informed you of a romantic relationship. Is that what you testified to?
Yes.
When did that conversation that you purport to have, to recall, when did that happen?
I mean, I don't have a month or a day, but just talking in general.
Your Honor, we'd like to keep this witness under subpoena, but that's all the questions I have right now.
All right, thank you, Ms. Cross.
All right, y'all. So now let's get to the good parts. You know, we seen the two snitches. So now we got the two people coming up that this is actually about. Mr. Wade and Ms. Fani Willis.
Mr. Wade is available, but we maintain that at this time the motion to quash probably should be granted, but understand the court's ruling.
Well, Ms. Cross, I'll say yes. On Monday, it did seem like the focus was that Mr. Bradley would be the hook that makes every witness potentially relevant. And we really haven't been able to explore that on the privilege issues that we'll likely have to tackle again later. But for now, the evidence in front of the court at the moment is that we have a witness who has said this relationship may have predated the affidavit that Mr. Wade filed. I don't see a way around the relevance of his testimony. And so, Ms. Merchant.
My name is Nathan Wade, Nathanwade.
Good morning, Mr. Wade.
Good morning.
Prior to filing this motion to disqualify, you and I were friends, correct?
Yes.
And in fact, I supported you when you ran for judge in 2016.
You did.
I wore your shirts. My kids wore your shirts.
Ms. Merchant,
Fines.
your personal opinions have no relevance.
Okay.
Yeah, bitch. Cut out all the ass kissing and the ball licking. They say your personal opinion has no relevance. Hey, they cut that shit off smoothly.
And I mean that in the best way.
That's
all
completely
right?
fine.
Let's get to the point.
Thank you. No. Totally fine. Thank you. You filed for divorce from your wife on November 2nd, 2021?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And in that divorce proceeding, did you file answers, things such as interrogatories?
I did.
Okay. And so interrogatories are where you're responding to things that basically answers that the other side is asking?
Yes, ma'am.
And I've got your complaint for divorce. I'm just going to mark it for the record as Defendant's Exhibit 2. The first interrogatories that you answered, those were December 27th, 2021. Is that right?
Thereabout. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And in those, you were asked different things, but those are sworn. You actually swear to those. You verify them, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so that verification is where you're swearing under oath that everything in it is true?
Yes, ma'am.
And which relate to the purchase of gifts by you to any person other than the defendant with whom you have or had a relationship, romantic relationship, from the date of your marriage, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you responded under oath that you didn't have any documents to that.
That's correct.
You again responded to an interrogatory. You updated those responses on May 30th, 2023?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you actually sent those directly to opposing counsel in the divorce?
Yes, ma'am. I think so.
But in that one, you answered none again to that question, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So May 30th, 2023, you said that you didn't have any documents showing any purchase of anything with someone that you had a romantic relationship with.
I believe the interrogatory was gifts.
Okay.
Not anything, gifts.
And I have it if you want to take a look. I'm going to mark, okay, so just for the record, I've got your complaint for divorce marked as number 2. I've got the verification and the interrogatories from 2021. I'm going to mark those as 3. And then your May 30th, 2023, I'm going to mark as 4. Judge, may I approach the witness?
You may.
Thank you. Thank you. 4. And then your 2021 interrogatory and your 2023 interrogatory, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, are they a fair and accurate representation of what is filed in that case?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd move to admit those into evidence.
And this is 2, 3, and 4?
It's 2, 3, and 4, yes.
All right. Any objection from the state?
The divorce, I don't think it's on the district.
No objection to 3 and 4, and subject to Ms. Merchant's representation that 2 is a filing of divorce. I just don't, the divorce complaint, I don't have that in front of me, but subject to that representation, no objection.
All right. And by show of hands, any objection from other defense counsel? Seeing none, defendants 2, 3, and 4. This should be Romans. Well, we'll just call them 2, 3, and 4 admitted without objection.
So that interrogatory that you filed in 2023, that's the one where you said no, that you didn't have any documents relating to the purchase of gifts, that you had a romantic relationship with someone, right?
Which interrogatory are we talking
Number
about?
4, 2023.
Which number in the interrogatory?
Number 4.
So, which number interrogatory are you referring to?
It's defendant's exhibit number 4.
I have defendant's exhibit 4 here.
Uh-huh.
Which number interrogatory are we referring to?
Oh, which number out of the questions?
Yes, ma'am.
Hold on. It is number 20, 24, 25, 26. All of those.
Can you just point to it?
Seats for restaurants, hotels, bars, things like that.
The first number 1?
I believe it's the second number 1.
The second number 1? Okay.
Okay. So it asks you if you have any receipts for things like restaurants, bars, hotels, things like that, where you accompanied a member of the other sex romantic partner. Correct?
It says identify any and all occasions.
Okay. And so it says to identify any and all occasions where you entertained a member of the other sex, okay, who's not related to blood, and including dining, drinking, restaurants, bars, pubs, hotels, all of that. Okay. And what was your answer to that?
None.
None. Okay. So May 30th, 2023, you prepared this document.
I did.
Submitted it.
I did.
And it says none as far as entertaining a member of the opposite sex.
It does.
Okay. No hotels, no bars, no restaurants.
Correct.
Okay. You again updated that. Let's see, you updated it on December 22nd, 2023. And I'm going to mark that as defendant's number 5, and I have copies. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then you updated it once again on January 26th, 2024, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that one. May I approach the witness again, Judge?
Is that what you're marking as Defense Exhibit 6?
Yes, Judge. I'm marking number 6 is the January 26th, 2024 interrogatory, and then that one. And then number 5 is the December 22nd, 2023 interrogatory response.
All right. Are you tendering those at this time?
Yes, I am.
All right. Any objection from any counsel to Defense Exhibit 5 and 6?
Yes, Judge. No objection.
Thank you, Ms. Cross. Seeing none others.
Lovely. I have tabs for you. So now that you have those, let's just talk about those for a minute.
So pretty much, he's not supposed. When they go out on dates or whatever with someone of the opposite sex, I guess they're supposed to document it. So I think that it's gonna become a problem right here because what I listened to earlier, I only listened to Fani's side earlier. They had to admit that yeah, they went out, but they wasn't like they were going out on dates where he were paying for it. They trying to make it sound like he was tricking on Fani. And Fani, you know, she kind of coming that bit like, motherfucker, I got my own money. Ain't no man tricking on me.
Those were verified, so sworn under oath.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And one of them was December 22nd, and then of this last year, so last December, and then one was just recently submitted in January, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In May 10th, 2023, Judge Thompson heard a motion to compel in your divorce case as well, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you were actually held in willful contempt.
Yeah, I'm going to object to the relevance of
His credibility is relevant, Judge, and if he was held in willful contempt for failing to provide answers and documents, I think that's relevant to this court.
How is that a prior false act or crime of conviction or anything else allowed for impeachment under the rules of evidence?
I'm not offering it as a prior bad act or something like that. I'm offering it towards his credibility, Judge, which you get to determine. If he's made misrepresentations in these pleadings, you're here to determine whether or not he's telling the truth or not. So if another court has held him in contempt and that's part of the divorce proceeding, I think it's relevant.
But just contempt generally can be for many different things. Like a failure to produce is not necessarily a false act, right?
Right, and he's welcome to explain that.
He may not have to. Ms. Cross.
I object to the relevance of that. That's clearly not a proper impeachment. We're going pretty far afield into divorce matters that don't have any direct relevance to anything that's pending before the court. I object to the relevance of that and need further.
All right. I'm not seeing that being a proper grounds for impeachment. It's sustained.
Okay. Let's talk about this December 22nd, 2023 verification. I tabbed it for you. Again, they asked you if you had any documentations showing proof of this relationship, proof of any relationship, correct?
I'm going to object to the phrasing of that question. I don't believe that's an accurate read of the interrogatory.
All right. Let's be precise, Ms. Merchant.
And you, please read it. I want to make sure I'm accurate. Please read it.
Which number?
This one actually has a number. I tabbed it for you, so you should be able to open right to the page. It's number 22. The question specifically is if you have any tangible evidence of any nature in your possession or control or any other person or entity which relates to any manner of your activities to any person with whom you've had a sexual relationship during your marriage. Tangible evidence is notes, cards, letters, photos, films, recordings, documents, tapes, video recordings, receipts, invoices, and other tangible evidence.
Yes.
Okay. And you answered that you did not have any documents to that effect, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And that was on December 22nd, 2023?
Yes, ma'am.
You updated those responses again after the motion to disqualify was filed, though, correct?
When was the motion filed?
January 8th, 2024, when I filed the motion to disqualify you and alleged that you had a romantic relationship with Miss Willis.
Yes, ma'am.
After that, you updated these responses, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And so your new responses, you now changed your answer from that you didn't have any of this to you're asserting the privilege under 24-5-505, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And both of these are under oath.
Yes, ma'am.
You also updated your response to the question about spending time with someone other than your spouse for dinner, drinks, things at restaurants, bars, hotels, or the other person's home, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So in December of 2023, you said no to all that, and then in January, after I filed my motion, you said privilege to all that, Fifth Amendment privilege.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And just to be clear, was it...
Sorry, I'm going to object the characterization of Fifth Amendment privilege. I think it was a statutory privilege, and that's quite different.
That's what I was just about to ask him. So that privilege covers infamy or Fifth Amendment privilege, correct?
So it was a privacy privilege is what I updated my response to do. Once you filed your motion to intervene in my divorce action, I then figured that you were in talks with my former wife's divorce lawyer.
Okay.
And because of that, I asserted a privacy privilege because I didn't want the proceedings of my divorce to bleed over into the proceedings in this case, which is the case that obviously you're involved in.
So your answers in December of 2023 that you didn't have any documents about any travel that you took with Ms. Willis, that wasn't true though, correct?
They didn't ask me about any documents regarding Ms. Willis.
A romantic partner. They asked you for documents regarding a romantic partner. So I'm sorry, I inserted Ms. Willis's name. Let me rephrase the question. They asked you for...
See, he don't look at her as a romantic partner. He just looking like shit. Nigga, I just smashed once or twice. Y'all looking at it like it's all that. And she spent a little money on me.
Documents about travel with a romantic partner in December 2023. And you under oath said you did not have any of those, correct?
I did not.
Okay.
And they asked me about gifts.
Right.
I never purchased a gift for Ms. Willis.
And they asked you about receipts for dinner, receipts for drinks, hotels, bars, and restaurants. And you said you did not have any of those.
I did not and do not have any receipts for any of those things.
Okay. And part of the civil discovery, they say that even if you don't have it in your pocket, if it's within your purview, you got to get it and give it to them, correct?
Your Honor, I'm going to object again to the relevance of the questions about the scope of civil discovery. I think she's asked him about statements he made in pleadings. The answers...
To establish a portion.
Thank you. Receipts.
I do not have any receipts. I did not have any receipts.
But you did travel with Ms. Willis in 2023, correct?
I did.
And you traveled with her in 2022, correct?
I did.
And you traveled with her in 2021, correct?
No.
So you only traveled with her in 2022 and 2023?
2022 and 2023 is what I recall.
That's what you recall?
Yes.
Okay. So you just don't remember if you traveled with her in 2021?
2022 and 2023 is what I recall.
Is what you recall. My question is, did you travel with her in 2021?
What part of that she don't understand? Bitch, I only recall those 2 times. You want to pull up 2021? But she must got something up her sleeve.
I'm not recalling any travel in 2021.
So it's not yes or no, you just don't remember?
I'm not recalling any travel in 2021.
So you did not travel with her in 2021?
Your Honor.
No, this has been covered. Let's keep going.
Thank you. Let's see. You filed an affidavit in this case, correct?
She must got some kind of receipt that he traveled with her in 2021.
I did.
Okay, and I marked that already. I gave it to the state as number 1. So that's exhibit number 1. May I approach, Judge?
You may.
Thank you. In that affidavit, you swore under oath, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And in that affidavit, you swore that, well, first of all, do you recognize the affidavit?
I do.
Okay. Did you sign the affidavit under oath?
I did.
And
Okay, so let's get to the juicy part. Let's get to Fanny because, you know, they're going to ask them all that. Fanny the one that's funny. So this shit here's the last to me.
Here to go over all of this and to explain exactly what happened. So we would ask the court that
everybody came for Fanny.
Court allowed Ms. Willis to be called and interrogated on these matters.
I will, Your Honor.
Just a moment, Ms. Willis.
Fanny, she ready to get up there too.
Ms. Cross, I don't know if you want to speak with Ms. Willis now. It's sounding like maybe they're withdrawing the objection to the motion.
I believe the motion to
Or does Ms. Willis want to take the lead here?
we'll withdraw the motion to quash Ms. Willis.
Based on the, I'm ready to go.
Okay, so the position of the district attorney at this point is that she's no longer contesting the subpoena. Ms. Merchant has called her as the next witness.
I would ask, I need 3 documents in front of me, and they're the 3 filings of Ms. Merchant.
3 filings.
Boy, she came up that bitch already making demands.
Does anyone have the 3 filings of Ms. Merchant? Does the court have the 3 filings of Ms. Merchant?
When you say the filings, you mean like the pleading?
You could tell she used to being a judge, because she up that bitch like she a judge.
The pleadings, yes, Your Honor.
Okay. I think we could locate those for you in the supplemental.
I want the one filed on January the 8th, the one filed immediately after we filed ours, and the final one. If you want to take a break to get them, I can make a copy. I think we have one.
You know, the only copy I have is going to have my notes on it. So if we don't have a clean copy,
We have a 5-minute break during.
Let's
I'll get
take
the documents.
all right.
I'll sit here and wait for him.
She said, I'll sit here and wait for him. But she came up here fucking shit up out the gate. She came up here off top. No games. Make everybody work. Get to work, everybody.
We elect someone who's actually making the copy.
Fannie made everybody get their ass up and get to work. To my 5-minute break. Them bitches took an hour break. Yeah, girl trying to earn her money. She all on her knees trying to get pictures in that courtroom.
Ms. Willis, how did you know to come into the courtroom right then?
Because there were people I was pacing in my office.
Okay.
And I heard someone yell, his testimony is done. It only made sense to me that I would be your next witness. And I've been very anxious to have this conversation with you today. Okay. So I ran to the courtroom.
So as soon as you heard that Mr. Wade was done testifying, that's when you just assumed you would be the next witness?
It only makes sense.
Did you listen to any of the testimony?
So she didn't even wait for them to call. She like, fuck it, I'm gonna go ahead and go. Cause she's been fighting tooth and nail, trying to fight the subpoenas where she had to come to court and testify. I think that's what she was meaning. She's been filing, whatever motions to not have to come in there and do this. But she knew they was about to make her do it anyway, so she went on ahead and, got ahead of it.
I've been in my office pacing, ma'am.
Did you listen to any of the arguments?
I did hear the arguments this morning. It's ridiculous to me that you lied on Monday, and yet here we still are. And I did listen to that argument.
All right, so that was it, just the argument, no testimony.
Right, I listened to the argument this morning where Adam Abadi, I thought, did an excellent job pointing out how dishonest you were with the court on Monday. And I'm actually surprised that the hearing continued, but since it did, here I am.
Great. So let's just talk about what you did in preparation for today. Did you meet with Mr. Wade at all? Once the motion was filed, did you meet with Mr. Wade and talk to him about the motion that I filed to disqualify you?
On this first January motion?
Yes.
I don't know if you could say talked about. I probably had some choice words about some of the things that you said that were dishonest within this motion. So I don't know that it was a conversation. As you know, Mr. Wade is a Southern gentleman, me not so much.
Okay, but my question was, did you have a conversation with
I
him?
didn't have a substantive conversation.
You did not?
I read this motion, skimmed it more so, and I've probably said some choice things to him about.
They say Fanny got that 19. Okay. Say Fanny got that 19-year-old poom poom.
And then printed in the media because, you know, we used to be in a day and time where you had 60 Minutes and people did stories and they verified information, and you had this great reporting. But it seems today that a lawyer writes a lie and then it's printed for all of the world to see.
Well, I just want to make sure that you answer the question I asked, though. So my question was...
I'm going to object, then ask an answer.
Overruled, Mr. Abadi.
I told you what happened. I read the motion. I am sure I told him what my opinion of it is.
Okay.
And past that, we had no substantive conversation.
You did not? Correct.
Is there something you didn't understand?
No, I just wanted to make sure that
Okay.
you did not have a meeting with him in the conference room to discuss the motion.
Next question,
No.
Ms. Merchant.
So in the conference room of my office within this week, you produced some financial document. That financial document was given to me, something, and I'm not even sure who was given it to him by me or Mr. Abadi gave it to me. And I think he showed me a document in our conference room. But as far as a substantive conversation, I don't believe I've had any conversation with him that is substantive related to this.
Okay.
I have had conversations with him since you filed the motion, but they wouldn't be substantive to this. He sent me very nice sermons that have been done. And so we've had conversations about, did you listen to that sermon? You know, things of that nature. And I would say they were in relationship to this because I think he did it to be kind.
Okay. Let's start back in 2019.
Yep.
So you and Mr. Wade met in October 2019 at a conference?
That is correct. And I think in one of your motions you tried to implicate I slept with him at that conference, which I find to be extremely offensive.
Boy, Fanny ain't come to play. Fanny ain't come to play. Bitch, you called me a hoe. You tried to say I fucked this man after the conference?
I stayed at that conference. Mr. Wade was my teacher. I did not meet him when he taught the class. I was standing outside talking to Lisa Reeves, who is a judge. Me and her were just having a conversation. Mr. Wade walks up. I think they hug each other. They have some brief conversation. She introduces us.
Your Honor, I'm going to object. We kind of thought that when you asked a question, you can answer the question, not a speech, so I object to the speech.
I agree.
I'm able to explain my answers.
I believe she's able to explain her answers.
And
That's Ms. Merchant, that's okay. I can handle it. Ms. Willis, I'll ask you just listen to the answer, or excuse me, the question, and keep the answers confined to the question as best you can. I think you'll have more than enough ample opportunity on when the state is able to
It's highly
ask
offensive
follow-ups.
when someone lies on you, and it's highly offensive when they try to implicate that you slept with somebody the first day you met with them, and I take exception to it.
All right. Well, Ms. Willis, you'll have the opportunity to explain all of that when it's the state's turn to ask more open-ended questions.
Yeah.
Ms. Merchant.
Thank you, Judge. So again, my question was, you all met at that conference, though?
Yeah, bitch, go play with somebody else pussy. Fanny ain't hearing that shit. Fanny ain't hearing it. Nah, Fanny ain't hearing it.
Right? We did. The meeting, he, as I stated, he taught the class. I did not actually meet him when he taught the class. I walked out of the class, and I'm not sure if it was that exact class or we had went to lunch, but we were standing in the vestibule, like outside of the class. Me and Judge Reeves were having a conversation. She had worked at a law firm I worked at back in 1996.
We're getting way afar. I mean, I don't mind her explaining her answers, but I literally just asked if they met at that
She's
conference.
explaining how she met Mr. Wade, which was exactly the question asked by Ms. Merchant.
These
answers are more than appropriate.
Ms. Merchant, if you want more concise answers, perhaps you could lead the witness.
I will. Thank you, Judge. Isn't it true that you met Mr. Wade October 2019 at a judges conference?
We haven't gotten to the point where Ms. Willis should be treated hostile in this situation.
I think we
And
have.
I'm very much want to be here, so I'm not a hostile witness. I very much want to be here.
Not so much that you're hostile, Ms. Willis, it'd be an adverse witness. Your interests are opposed to Ms. Merchant's.
Thank
Ms.
you.
Merchant's interests are contrary to democracy, Your Honor, not to mine.
All right, let's
Judge, I
proceed.
would just ask that we.
can-
Okay, so we've confirmed when you met. After that, isn't it true?
No, I need to explain this, and I think I get to explain my answers. When I met him, Judge Reeves introduced us. He handed me his business card. I'm unsure if I handed him my business card, but we exchanged information. He said, if you ever need any help, give me a call. And he walked to the parking lot.
So after that, you started dating shortly thereafter, correct?
A lie. That's one of your lies.
Okay. Do you know Robin Yurdy?
I know her as Robin Bryant. I knew her. So Robin did not go to my college. She went to the college of, I went to Howard University. She went to Morgan State. I met her through some people I knew. In college, we hung out a bit. Not much because she was in Baltimore and I was in Washington, D.C. But we hung out a bit. After college, I lost contact with her. I probably didn't see Robin again until maybe 7 or 8 years ago, a chance meeting here in Atlanta, but we did not have a consistent relationship from when I left college and came to Emory Law School here in Atlanta. But 8 to 10 years ago, just by happenstance, I ran into her.
So
she was in Atlanta.
You have been friends with Robin for 30-something years.
Did you hear my answer, madam?
Yes, and I'm asking if you've been friends with her for 30-something years.
I've known her for 30-something years. We certainly hung out and partied together in college. She was from the D.C. area. She would come home, we'd party together. Wasn't close, but she was certainly in the girlfriends that partied together. And then, like I said, I ran into her about 10 years ago in Atlanta, Georgia. But we didn't talk throughout that time period. I didn't see her. I didn't even know where she was. When I ran into her, I was surprised she was in Atlanta. And so, yes, I have known her probably since 1990, 1991, but we have not maintained a consistent relationship that whole time.
For the last 10 years or 5, whatever you'd like to classify it as, have you been friends with her?
I have not spoken to Robin in over a year. I certainly do not consider her a friend now. I think that she, there's a saying, no good deed goes unpunished, and I think that she betrayed our friendship.
So let's narrow it down, the timeline now. So my questions are going to be from the time period of 2019 until she no longer was employed for you, the last time you all talked. So all of my next questions are just focused on that time frame, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Up until she left your office.
Yes, ma'am.
During 2019, you all were friends, correct?
Yes, we knew each other in 2019.
During 2020, you all were friends, correct?
We were friends during that time period.
During 2021, you all were friends, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And such good friends that when you needed a place to stay, you asked her if you could take over her lease.
That's a lie.
You did not move into her apartment?
I did, but that's not the way you characterize it is wrong.
I asked if you could take over her lease.
I did not ask if I could take over her lease.
Did you move into her apartment?
I moved into her condo in April of 21. The circumstances around that were that Robin met her husband. They wanted to move into another and separate place. She wanted to get rid of her condo. My father was living with me at the house. Because of this case and because of my stance on gangs, my life was being threatened regularly. My father urged me to leave our home. At the same time, as luck would have it, Robin wanted to give up her lease because she wanted to move in with this new man she met, who eventually became her husband. And so, as life circumstances worked, my dad was begging me to leave the house. He was afraid for me, afraid for his grandchildren. She wanted someone to take over her lease so that she didn't, have to pay a fee or get abandoned. And so, I don't remember when, but probably March or April of 21, I moved in and take over her lease.
And did you pay her or did you pay the leasing agent?
No, I don't even know who the leasing agent was. I paid her.
You paid her. Did you pay her cash or did you use a card?
There were some times that I would give her cash, but mostly I paid her via Cash App. That would be the most convenient thing. So I would not only give her rent, but then like when the utilities would come in, whatever the utility was, she might be like, I need $70, I need $100, whatever it was. And we never had a problem with money. Whatever she told me it was, I never asked to see a bill. I never questioned her. I just gave it to her.
What percentage would you say you paid cash versus Cash App?
Oh, the vast majority was Cash App. I don't know what percentage, I'm not going to guess that, but the vast majority was Cash App. But there would be times she would say, you know, this bill came in at $70, here goes $70.
Did you have a monthly rent amount that you paid her?
I can't remember. It was $1,500. I can't remember what it was. And it would vary, which I don't understand to this day. But like I said, I never questioned her.
When did you move out?
She said it was, that's what I paid.
When did you
I
move out?
abruptly moved out in February, either late January or early February of 22.
Of 22?
Yes,
February
ma'am.
2022, is that what you said?
January, February of 22. I believe it is January, but I paid her half the rent of February of 22 is what I remember. And because I was offering to pay the whole rent, even though I didn't live there, I didn't think it was right. And I ended up just paying her half the rent.
So that's after you moved out. You said you paid her half of that. Okay. And the time that you said you had to move out of your house because you were scared, did your dad stay there at your house?
My father was concerned. Yes, we were both concerned.
Okay. But he remained there.
My father was 80 years old. He would have been 79. He was scared to death of COVID. You have to go back to when this was. My father's an older man. I wanted him to move out. We had some discussions about him moving out, and what he decided was the risk of COVID was more dangerous than the risk of the people that were threatening. Typical man, more worried about his daughter and his grandchildren than his own safety. You'll get to meet him, and you'll understand he doesn't scare too easily.
So his grandkids were living in...
Oh, shit. So they probably going to have Fanny, Daddy come up there? Oh, shit. Daddy going to come up there and cuss her ass out.
The house as well at that time?
Well, I don't know how old your children are, but when you have adult children, they leave and they come back. They leave and they come back. So there have been periods of...
Okay, so here go where I came in at. This is where I first started. So I saw almost the beginning. So yeah, it's about from what I saw, boy, she was spicy. But this is where I came in at.
Time that they're there, they come, they do whatever they want to do. Children do what children do. As long as their mother has a house, they'll come to it. Unfortunately, now the threats because of this case have gotten so extreme. I just pay a mortgage and no one lives there.
And that's what I was going to ask you. So when you moved out in, I think you said April 2021, you left your dad and your two kids at the house?
My dad and my two kids were not at the house.
They were not? Okay, so they didn't still live at your house?
Boy, I believe he wanted her to move why he wasn't afraid, because he would rather be there and they come there and do something to him, but they still can't get to her. You know what I mean? He's still 80 years old. He know damn well it's only so much he can do. But I don't know why she would leave the kids there now. But, you know, he probably figured it's easier for him to protect himself and the kids because they're looking for her. If they don't see her, they ain't gonna do nothing.
Youngest daughter certainly did not live there. Okay. My oldest daughter would come back and forth. I can't say month for month when she was there or when she was not there. I know that she has been there post me moving out. At this time, no one is at my house.
Okay. So at some point after you moved out for the safety reasons, at least one of your children did come back.
Ms. Merchant, can we get to either the relationship or the financial benefit?
Yes. Let's see, we were back at 2021. So you were still friends with Miss Yeardy then. Were you also friends with Mr. Bradley?
I've never been friends with Mr. Bradley.
You've never been friends with Mr. Bradley?
No, I don't consider us to be friends. I don't dislike Mr. Bradley, but I don't consider us to be friends.
Is he someone that you would have in your phone and you would message with?
I might have text messaged him.
Okay. Would you text message him and Mr. Wade on the same conversations?
I don't recall doing that, but if it happened, it wouldn't surprise me.
Okay, so that wouldn't surprise you, the three of you. Okay. How frequently would you think that the three of you would have texted?
Not very. I wouldn't think very often, but you're asking me to recall. I don't even know what time period you're asking me to recall, but I'm not going to speak to that because I just really don't know the answer to that. And so I don't want to speculate as to how often that would happen. But it's not out of my practice to text two people on one text message. So if you told me that happened and showed it to me, it wouldn't surprise me, although I have no recollection of it.
But there would be some record of it in your phone, or the phone records would have.
Boy, she know how to get on that stand and talk, boy. And see, she said what got her in there. Nah, this ain't Kamala. Kamala is AKA, right? But she said she was pacing around in her office, hearing what this woman was saying. See, she wasn't gonna testify, but she was like, "Oh, fuck no, I'm going up there to testify. This bitch got me fucked up." She up there talking about I slept with the man on the first night, all that shit like that. But she wanted to go straight in that shit. Fani wanted to go straight in that shit quick. She ran her ass up there to that courthouse.
Have some record of those texts.
Perhaps.
Talk about, you said that sometimes you paid Miss Yurdy cash.
I don't
When
think
you
I-
went,
I'm sorry.
when you went on vacation with Mr. Wade, let's just go one by one. Let's start with the first one. What's the first time you went on vacation with Mr. Wade?
I think the first time we went on vacation was around April of 22, and it's a vacation is a stretch, but I'm trying to be comprehensive. I recall April of 22. His birthday is March the 18th, so that would have been his 49th birthday. I took him to like Tennessee for the day. I think we went to a museum. I think we might have stayed the night. I'm not sure, but I mean.
What?
Girl, you know if that man stayed tonight, you gave that man some ass for his birthday. You took him all the way to Tennessee. Y'all rented a room. And, y'all did what y'all did for the man's birthday.
Tennessee's kind of hard to call a vacation, but I just am trying to be inclusive. And it, like I said, I know it wasn't more than a day.
So you didn't spend the night?
I think that we did. That's what I'm telling you. I think that there's a possibility that we stayed that night in April of 22.
Who paid for the hotel?
Did y'all fuck that night? That's what she want to ask. Did y'all fuck that night?
I think I did. It was his birthday.
It was his birthday. She paid for the... Oh, Sugar Mama Fani. Sugar Mama Fani.
And would you have used a credit card?
Probably maybe a debit.
And when did you start dating?
When I started dating Mr. Wade, it was right around then.
April 2022?
22, yes.
2022.
It was around then. I don't know, it's not like when you're in grade school and you send a little letter and it says, will you...
Girl, every woman know when they start dating a dude. Women, one thing I know about women, they write down them dates. The day y'all start dating, that shit documented. Stop the cap. The day you fuck that man, you documented it. Women document their coochie. Respectable women anyway.
You be my girlfriend and you check it. I don't know the day that we started seeing each other, but it was early 22 is my recollection.
Okay, early 22. And you all went to Florida on vacation as well?
I don't recall going to Florida on vacation with him.
You never went to Florida with Mr. Wade?
When we went to get on the cruise ship, we went to Miami.
Okay, that's the only time that you went to Florida with him?
I think we went to Miami and spent the night. That's my recollection.
Okay.
I think we...
She remember going everywhere out of town, spending the night with the man, though. She said, we spent the night. What the lady should have said, did y'all stay in the same hotel room? I'm surprised she ain't asked that. That would have told us everything. Hey, when y'all stayed the night, did y'all sleep in the same hotel room? But I think Fani is trying to say they started dating after she made him the district attorney, or either before. I mean, not the district attorney, but the special prosecutor. I don't know which one is worse, making him the special prosecutor before or after. Which one y'all think is worse? Her making him the special prosecutor and then having sex with him before? If she was fucking him and then made him the special prosecutor, you gonna think that he got the job because he fucked her, right? But if she gave it to him before he fucked her, you gonna say that, hey, you know, y'all started a relationship on the job. So either one is kind of fucked up. If y'all was fucking, period. I was giving her the benefit of the doubt and saying, okay, they was just going on vacation together. That I mean they was fucking, but now that y'all had to admit that y'all was fucking, there's really no right answer for this. Whether y'all was fucking before or after you gave the man the job, either way it go is biased. Either way it go.
Spent one night so that we wouldn't miss the ship. That's my recollection of our
Paid for that hotel.
In Miami?
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember that.
And how'd you get to Miami?
We would have flown. And we've done that, so that I'm clear, we've done that twice. I think one time we stayed, and I honestly can't tell you, did we stay when the ship left or did we stay when the ship came back? I also can't tell you, so there's 2 cruises out of Miami. There's one that's in that October time period that was with his mom. And then there was another that was a New Year's Eve trip. I know I paid for the New Year's Eve trip because the tickets were $697 each. And I thought this is ridiculous that the tickets are $700 to go to Miami. But when you travel during New Year's Eve, you know, they get you.
So let's just back up and talk about the first time that you went to Florida with Mr. Wade. That was the time that you said you stayed in Miami at the hotel the first night?
That's the time I told you I am not sure. So I'm not sure of 2 things. So I want to make sure that my testimony is clear. I'm not sure if we stayed in Miami on the October trip. I'm not sure if we stayed in Miami on the December trip. I just can't remember that. And I also don't remember, so that the record is clear, I don't remember if the necessity was as we got on the ship or we got off the ship. But I do remember there was a night spent in Miami because either whatever. I don't remember. But
you remember y'all fucked. You remember y'all fucked in Miami. That's what she do remember. She don't want to say that. That's when he got in that Fanny.
I think that there was a night spent in Miami.
That cruise is the one that you took in October, right?
Ma'am, if you have something to refresh my recollection, I'm intentionally trying to not be difficult with you, but I don't want to make up something.
Right.
I know that on one of those 2 trips, we stayed in Miami. I am not sure right now. You're asking me about.
Oh, I'm sorry, you misunderstood. I was not asking you which night you stayed in Miami. I'm asking if you took a cruise in October 2022 with Mr. Wade.
Yes, and his mom.
And his mother. That's what I was asking.
Yes.
Is that the first time you met his mother?
Yes.
It was on that cruise, and that was Royal Caribbean, I believe?
I honestly don't remember what ship. I know we've taken 2 cruises. I don't know what the ships were.
But he paid for the flight and the cruise on Royal Caribbean that time.
So yes, he paid. He is the original one that does it. He has something called, Mr. Wade is a world traveler. I'm not as versed as him. He's been to 6 of the 7 continents. And so he has both a personal travel agent and he also has a cruise travel agent. I don't know anything about either of those kind of travel agents. So he is the one that would book the travel. But we need to be clear when we're talking about just because he booked it doesn't mean, like, I don't consider him having taken me anyplace. Let me just be honest. The only point that's ever taken somebody someplace is for his 50th birthday. I consider that I took him to Belize. And I took him to Belize because, you know, I don't want to.
She wanted some of that, wah, wah, some of that, wah, wah. And he was like, hey, Fanny.
Can I put my balls in your jaws? Your jaws. Balls in your jaws.
And Belize.
I want to discuss his personal business, but I'm happy Mr. Wade is still here with us. And I did 50 big. Very big.
So
she did 50 big, really big. So she for his 50th birthday, boy, Boy, she got loose for that 50th birthday because he almost lost his life. She said that he had a form of cancer, so she thought he was about to die. So she threw that nigga everything, so he could take it to the grave with him.
So, still on that October Royal Caribbean cruise, even though he had a travel agent. I'm sorry?
If you do me a favor, I don't know what cruise ship, what time. So if you'll help me and say October cruise with Mama or the New Year's Eve trip with his sisters, I'll be able to, we can communicate. I just don't.
Oh, she's slick with that. She's slick with that. Oh, so she went on 2 cruises, with one of them was with his sisters and the other one with his mama. So, oh yeah, I was going along with the family and all that. Damn, so the wife got to be like, damn, my nigga, you taking her with your mama and your sisters and all that? Yeah, wifey would be mad if there's another tag along to the family.
Don't know what ship.
October cruise with Mama. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He paid for the cruise and the flights for that trip.
So he called his cruise agent and he booked that through them because he has a cruise agent.
Right.
He also has a regular agent. I don't know the cruise agent's name.
So I wasn't asking about his travel agent. I was just asking if he paid for those.
He did not, though.
Okay.
Because the reason I consider that he did not is I gave him his money back.
And I was about to ask that. But initially, he paid for that.
Yeah, he called his cruise agent. Like, I think they have his card on record. They do whatever.
Okay. So initially, he paid for the cruise and the flight to Miami and the Royal Caribbean cruise.
And my understanding of that October cruise is like it was a package the lady did for him.
Okay. So, and I'll get to the reimbursements and all that. I'm just trying to confirm he paid for the flight and the cruise in October.
And I think that when you say things that way, I want this record to be abundantly clear that he calls his travel agent.
But the thing about it, though, only thing it's going to do is they're going to just have to assign a new prosecutor. Now, that kind of will help Trump out because now he can put his influence into the picking of the new prosecutor. So that's the only thing about it.
Agent. He calls his cruise agent. They do whatever he tells them. He's like on a first name basis with these people. They do it, and then he tells me how much it is, and I give him the money back. I don't, just like you're asking me about the money with Robin, I don't do my friends like that. So if you tell me it's a G, then you're gonna get $1,000. If whatever it is, I didn't.
Man, she using street words. If you tell me it's a G, oh, but she was a little thought back in them 90s, boy. Oh yeah. Fanny got a lot of hood in her, y'all. I do believe she probably was fucking with old boy Nut. She got a lot of hood in her. She got real Atlanta black woman attitude.
Ever make him produce receipts to me. Whatever he told me it was, I gave him his money back.
Isn't it true that he paid for the cruise and the flight on his credit card? I'm not asking about reimbursement or after. He used his credit card to buy the cruise and buy the flight, correct?
I have no idea how he paid for it, if it's a credit card, if it's a debit card, but certainly he called his cruise agent. You know, like how many people have a cruise agent? He calls his cruise agent, tells them where they want to go. They tell him what's booked. And you have to remember, he paid for, that initial was me, him, and his mother.
And then after that cruise, you all flew to Aruba and spent a couple days in a hotel there, correct?
Right, and his mother was not happy
He
that we left her
initially
behind.
paid for that. He initially paid for that.
For Aruba, yes, ma'am.
Did she say she just offered some information that she probably shouldn't have? She said mother was not happy and they left her behind. This nigga left his mama behind in Aruba. Wow.
So let's talk about both of those. I know he initially paid for it. Did you pay him back?
For the cruise and for Aruba, yeah, I gave him his money before we ever went on that trip.
You gave him cash before you ever went on the trip?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so when you got cash to pay him back on these trips, would you go to the ATM?
No, lady.
You would not go to the ATM?
No.
Okay. So Fulton County pays you direct deposit, I assume?
Yes, Fulton County and the state of Georgia both pay me direct deposits.
Okay. So the cash that you would pay him, you wouldn't get it out of the bank?
I have money in my house.
You have money in your house. So it was just money that was there?
Oh, shit.
My father. He's going to tell you as a woman, you should always have, which I don't have, so let's don't tell him that. You should have at least 6 months in cash at your house at all times. Now, I don't know why this old black man feels like that, but he does. When we were growing up, my daddy had 3 safes in the house. So my father's bought me a lockbox, and I always keep cash in the house. Now, I don't do it to the degree that my father would do it, so he would probably be ashamed with me, but I always have cash at the house. That has been, I don't know, all my life. If you're a woman and you go on a date with a man, you better have 200.
Yeah, in my opinion, she kind of fucked up. Because, you know, come on, woman, you saying you done went on all these trips, but you can't prove that you pulled out this money to get the money that you paid him back. You telling us you paid him back in all cash. You got up to $10,000 in all cash that you used for vacation. Nah. Yeah, she should. This one of the times she should shut the fuck up. Her emotions getting the best of her.
$100 in your pocket. So if that man acts up, you can go where you want to go. So I keep cash in my house, and I don't keep cash as good in my purse like I used to, because I don't go on many dates. But when you go on a date, you should have cash in your pocket.
So my question was, where did that cash originally come from? If it didn't come out of the bank?
Cash is fungible. I've had cash for years in my house. So for me to tell you the source of when it comes from, when you go to Publix and you buy something, you get $50.
Nah, bitch. You gotta have at some point in time that you withdraw a large amount of cash. You ain't no damn stripper. You ain't been no stripper lately. You ain't no dope dealer or nothing like that. At some point in time, you had to withdraw, let's see, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 or something in cash. You gonna tell me you never could show a time where you went and withdraw cash, a large amount of cash? Say, Earz, Google some young college pics of Fanny. All right, I'll do that. At some point in time.
You throw it in there. When it's been my whole life. When I took out a large amount of money on my first campaign, I kept some of the cash of that. Like, to tell you.
Wait, what? Wait, what? Say what now?
I said, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
Did you just admit that when you did your first campaign, you took out a large amount of cash? Was that legal? Interesting. But continue on.
I just have cash in my house. I don't have as much today as I would normally have, but I'm building back up now. So you just put money in. It's a very good practice. I would advise it to all women.
So you can't identify when you came into this cash or where the cash came from?
I didn't say I couldn't identify it. No, nobody gives me anything. I am sure that the source of the money is always the work, sweat, and tears of me. What you asked me for is, when did the money go in there? What I am trying to tell you is, so I got divorced in 2005 from my husband. No. It's important. You said, where did the money come from? And I need to tell you where the money came from. And so for many, many years, I have kept money in my house. That money in my worst days has probably only been $500 or $1,000. At my best days, I probably had $15,000 in my house at cash. At all times, there's going to be cash in my house or wherever I'm laying my head.
The money that you paid Mr. Wade, the cash, in October of 2022, you do not know where that money came from?
I do know where it came from. It came from my sweat and tears.
You know which job it came from? Did it come from Fulton County or did it come from a private job?
It came from, what are you talking about? So it could have come from a private job because before I was DA, I was in private practice. So I earned money during that time period that's probably in there.
You don't know
could have. What do you mean I don't know where it came from? I
understand the situation. We can move on.
Okay, thanks. Same with Aruba. You don't know where that cash came from either, right?
Ma'am, you are mischaracterizing my testimony greatly. I'm not going to allow you to mischaracterize my testimony. I know that I keep money in my house. The amounts of money I gave Mr. Wade, it was never that serious. I don't think I've ever handed him more than $2,500 in a reimbursement. So we're not talking about $20,000 in cash. I don't have $20,000 in cash right now. The most I ever gave him, I know I gave him $2,500 when we went to Belize. Because
I can't find none of them, man. I'm looking on Google trying to find some younger pictures of Fani Willis, but nah, I don't see any young pictures of her. If y'all find any, just send them to me. I'll show them, but right now, I don't see any younger pictures of her.
Because we went to one hotel, and then we went to a second hotel. That $2,500 I actually gave him while we were still in Belize. I know that the Aruba trip, the one that you described with his mom, I think I gave him about $2,000 for that trip, for like total.
His mom went to Aruba with you?
The Aruba trip. So I consider that to be one trip. So we got off of a cruise ship, and then we went to Aruba, which is why I cannot remember is that the time that we had to stay in Miami to wait for the flight for Aruba. So I consider that one trip, but we didn't like come back to Atlanta and leave. We flew down to Miami. We got on a cruise ship. We spent a couple of days with his mama. We came back to Miami. When we came back to Miami, either that day or the next day.
See, she fucking up right there. We spent a couple of days with his mama because now this definitely looks like a relationship. You spending time with the man's mama. This is a married man. You are the district attorney. You are the face of the black woman in Atlanta. And you out here with a married man. Running around with a married man. I mean, you know, I ain't the one to judge, but shit. Damn. You ain't got no man? Fani, why you ain't got no motherfucking man, Fani? You got some explaining to do, Fani. Why you ain't got no motherfucking man, Fani? How you this successful out here with no man?
We flew to Aruba. We spent a few days in Aruba and we came back. That was really one trip. Even though we went two places, it was one trip.
So let's talk about the California trip.
Now,
Is that when you were moving your daughter out to California? When you all went, or did you have two trips to California?
my daughter doesn't live in California.
Did she ever live in California?
I'm not discussing to you the location of my child.
So how many times did you go with Mr. Wade?
That'll teach you. That'll teach you.
Watch closely. You're about to experience a nigga moment.
She said, I ain't about to disclose. Man,
Wade,
please.
California.
Hey, that was the W for all black women right there. That alone now.
Once.
And you all stayed in Napa Valley and he paid for the plane tickets and the hotel?
He paid for the plane tickets and the hotel.
And what did you pay for on that trip?
I gave him much less cash that time, probably $400 or $500, and then I paid for a bunch of stuff. I think we did 2 different wine tours that you do, which are pretty expensive. I think I bought him, he likes wine. I don't really like wine, to be honest with you. I like Grey Goose.
What? Okay. I mean, she could have said Patron or something, but she said she like Grey Goose, get her loose. Grey Goose, get her loose. Grey Goose, get her loose. Grey Goose, get her loose, Fani. Grey Goose, get her loose. Nigga, Fani say Grey Goose, get her loose. Ah, shit. Not Fani. On the Grey Goose. What?
I bought him a bottle of wine while we were there, and the sippings that you do. I can't remember how many, like 4 or 5 different places you go. I remember we went to this place that they do pairings. That was the most expensive thing that I think that we did while we were there. So they would pair, champagne, chocolate, and caviar. It was a 3, and it was like 3 different things: Sweden, Russia, someplace else. I'll make that up. But that was the most expensive thing we did that trip, and I paid for that.
You pay cash?
For us doing that? Yeah, I think that trip did not cost me a lot of money. I might have took like $750.
Ain't nothing to a boss. Look at her, boy. Ain't nothing to a big boss Fanny, boy. Boy, big boss Fanny, nigga. Boy, she got some nigga wage right now. She's stunting like a nigga. Man, I might have spent like, I spent like this on the nigga. You know what I'm saying? The nigga was alright. I took the nigga on a little cruise. You know what I'm saying? Nigga had his mama and shit, so you know what I'm saying? Hey, look at the face she got on right now. That's that face, you know what I'm saying? You know, I spit a little something on little nigga. You know what I'm saying? After a little wine and shit, we all over there in Belize and shit. You know what I'm saying? I really went on the boat with the nigga, but I thought I was gonna catch me one of them other, you know what I'm saying, little niggas over there in the Caribbean, but shit, the niggas was tripping, so I went on here and took the bald head nigga. Look like what she's saying, ain't it? Ah, shit, boy. Fanny a trip. Fanny a motherfucking trip.
$50 in cash on me because we weren't gone very long.
I'd only asked if you paid in cash. I don't need to know the amounts.
When I travel, I always take cash.
And is the cash?
Damn, big baller. Big baller. Shot caller. I travel, I always take
That
cash.
you keep in your house, or do you keep it at the condo that you were living in?
So at that point, it wouldn't be at my house, and I'm sorry if I was not clear. The money would be wherever I laid my head. So I wouldn't leave the money at the house. So if I was unclear, no. Money's going to be where I stay.
How much did you pay for your trip to Panama?
To where?
Panama, I believe.
I didn't go.
Oh, my life. My life. You might got a point right there, boy. They might have been setting her up, too. That could have been nut cash that she was holding. Donovan Thomas, because remember, he was the dope boy. Bitch, where you get all this cash from? You get direct deposit. You might be the next motherfucker up in the RICO charge. Fuck around. Fuck around and let the wrong motherfucker get voted in as the next district attorney. See, won't your ass be on that chopping block. Not for Young Thug, but for Trump. Because if Trump get in office, he gonna make, boy, I'm talking about, he gonna try to make an example out of Fani Willis. See, he can't do nothing with that black lady in New York. She ain't got the kind of, shit hidden in the closet as Fani Willis. Fani Willis let her pussy get loose. Yeah. She let her pussy get loose. Start fucking with a married man. I ain't mad at her for getting her freak on, but ma'am, you was fucking with a married man. Regardless, you know that man was married. I don't give a damn if y'all going on business. You ain't supposed to be in no fucking Belize with this man mama. You ain't supposed to be taking no cruises with this man mama, bruh. There ain't no way, shape, or form. And you ain't supposed to be giving this nigga the biggest fucking job in fucking nigga history. You giving this nigga an opportunity to prosecute the president? And you think nobody ain't gonna notice this shit? Come on, man. Damn, you dropped the ball with this one, girl. All you had to do, people was looking at you talking about you might have been the next president, girl. Folks was looking at you like you could possibly be the first female president, and you dropped the ball. The fuck with a married man. Damn. You could have gave that position to anybody. You could have just let this nigga, he good. You could have, cool. You could fuck the nigga, but damn, you can't do nothing this stupid. You had to know that this was coming back. You can't fuck a nigga that you given a position like this.
I may have the location wrong.
I never went to Panama.
So
Mr.
after
Wade went to Panama with his frat brother.
Oh, he went to Panama with his frat brothers. So tell me about, let's see. So I want to make sure I've got them. I've got Belize. You already covered Belize. You covered the...
So let me tell you our real trips. In October, we went on the cruise with his mom. We got back from the cruise with his mom and we went to Aruba. I consider that one trip. Second trip, New Year's Eve, we went on a cruise to the Bahamas. That's the second trip. I want to make sure I get this right. Third trip, 100% on me. I think he might have spent $200 on that entire trip. We went to Belize. That was my trip. That was, his 50th. And then Napa Valley, we went around May.
You're right. He wasn't qualified for the job. And, anybody not gonna, everybody gonna get pissed off about that more than anything. He wasn't qualified for the job. Too many people work hard to get passed up just because, they just happen to be at the right place at the right time while you was drunk and horny.
I don't know the dates, but it seems to me like it was close to Mother's Day.
And those are the only trips?
So that the record is complete, I can remember one time driving to, where were we? South Carolina, and we met my sister for lunch with her man.
When was that?
I don't know, but we didn't stay the night there. But I guess people would consider that a trip if you drive somewhere and you come back. That was insane because it was like 5 hours to drive. We ate lunch and we drove right back. I can remember driving to some little town in Georgia. I don't even know where I was. I had never been there before or after. There's some boat you can get on over to, and there's like a slave thing, if that gives.
That's Brunswick, Sapelo Island. That's what the Geechees. That's what she went at. You go get on the boat. That's where all my son people from. Sapelo Island. That's what she meant. That's what she talking about.
Anyone any reference? We didn't do that. I remember doing that. I remember driving one time to Charlotte. We had lunch with one of my very close girlfriends, and again we drove to Charlotte, met my girlfriend for lunch, and drove right back. So that's a trip. We didn't stay the night there, but I just want to be complete in my testimony. We drove someplace, had lunch, drove back. I don't remember another driving someplace distant for lunch and coming back to Charlotte to see a girlfriend, to meet my sister in South Carolina. We went by ourselves when I told you about that remote place in Georgia. We could have driven someplace else and had lunch and came back, but that's all that comes to my recollection right now. There could have been another place we drove and had lunch. My security team was very clear to me. I'm not to be out and about in Atlanta without them. And so for me to do something just very normal that a normal person would get to do if they weren't prosecuting this case, I got to drive 4 hours to do it.
And that's what I was going to ask you. Your security detail, did they take you to and from your house?
So I haven't been able to enjoy my home.
Condo, I'm sorry.
And March of
where you lay your head. Did they take you to and from where you lay your head?
99% of the time.
Would they take Mr. Wade to and from wherever you laid your head?
That has never in the history of ever happened. Ever, okay?
Your security team has never taken him?
From my house? That's a lie.
That's another. If they've ever taken him anywhere.
And I'm telling you that that's never happened.
So your security team has never taken
My
Mr. Wade
security team has never taken Mr. Wade from any place where I have lived and brought him here. Never. Not once. Not ever.
Have they ever taken the two of you together?
To where?
Anywhere.
Well, we've left this building and gone to lunch, but I go to lunch so rarely that is a very rare occasion, I am sure. And let me...
She's getting offended just by the thought of it. Like, ma'am, You were fucking the man. Come on now. Like, come on, let's just start there. Let's just start there. You was fucking him. Cool. But don't try to act like the question she's asking is like disgusting. Why you twisting up your face and all that shit there? What's all that about?
To be clear, it wouldn't just be Mr. Wade. So I'm sure my security team has taken me to lunch. Probably been a time I've left here 7 o'clock, gone to get something to eat. And I don't even know that they would have taken him or if he would have driven himself, but they've taken me to do that. But we're talking very few, very far in between. Most days I don't even eat lunch. And when I do, it's because my assistant has heated up some bag, something, and I eat through meetings and eat in my office. It's not a practice of mine to go to lunch.
During the time period that you were dating, would your security team ever take you two together anywhere?
No.
Never.
If there was a lunch that occurred that I just described, if there was a meal that occurred that I just described, anything outside of that, and it needs to be very clear. Not often. Once, twice. Because I want to be over-inclusive, I'm saying once or twice. I'm not certain that it happened, but I'd rather be over-inclusive with you.
So your office objected to us getting Delta records for flights that you may have taken with Mr. Wade.
And, well, no, look. I object to you getting records. You've been intrusive into people's personal lives. You're confused. You think I'm on trial. These people are on trial for trying to steal an election in 2020. I'm not on trial, no matter how hard you try to put me on trial.
So my question was,
do
you have any problem?
I object to getting any personal records of mine.
And I'm not, no, I'm not dealing with privilege. What we had offered to put them in camera for the court to review, and I just want to know if she has any
That's
problem.
not something you deal with a witness.
Okay, you have to file as part of your job something called an income and financial disclosure report, correct?
That's correct.
And you filed your first one, so you filed 2 to date, is that right?
Is it 2 or 3? I probably would have filed 21, 22, and maybe I haven't filed 23 yet, because isn't it due like June of the next year?
April, I believe. So you filed, let's see, you filed your first one, it looks like April 15th, 2022, and your second one, April 17th, 2023. Does that sound familiar?
That I don't remember the dates, but you're an officer of the court. I'm gonna hope you're telling the truth now.
May I approach the witness?
You may.
Thank you. I already gave the state a copy, exhibit 20 and 21.
A whole lot of shade going on here. Whole lot of shade.
Can somebody
getting
bring me
thrown.
some? Yeah. Guys are getting a little old. Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
Those are the ones that you filed.
This looks like me for sure. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Judge, we'd move to admit 20 and 21.
I think you need to delineate which one's which
20
one's which.
is 2021, so it accounts for the time period, Your Honor, January the 1st, 21 through December the 31st, 2021. That is Defendant's Exhibit 20. Defendant's Exhibit 2021, it accounts for the time period January the 1st, 2022 through December the 1st of 2022.
All right. Any objection to exhibits 20 and 21?
Nope.
Sorry.
From other counsel? Admitted without objection.
Yeah. When did your personal relationship with Mr. Wade end?
Our personal relationship ended in this year. So let's be very clear so that we don't mix words. I don't want to mix words.
This year.
Mr. Wade is my friend right now.
Hold up. This year? So pretty much this whole situation is what broke them up. Shit. Y'all, they still fucking right now. Well, at least they want to, allegedly. I think, maybe, possibly. I don't want no smoke. Shit. Yeah, boy, they possibly still doing their thing right now. I ain't lying.
Mr. Wade I would say, has been my friend since 2020. I think he started out as like a mentor and a professional colleague. He became my friend and somebody that I really respected. I feel very indebted to Mr. Wade for taking on the task of this job. And he is certainly my friend and one of the people that I respect the most. So if you ask about a personal relationship, I consider myself to have a personal relationship right now, Mr. Wade. I consider myself to have a personal relationship with Anna Cross. I consider myself to have a personal relationship with Mr. Abadi. I consider myself to have a personal relationship with Andrew Evans.
Okay, let me just clarify that.
I have a.
So she pretty much saying all y'all can get this pussy. Because that's the only difference. You had sex with this man, but now you up here talking about you could have had a personal. You consider yourself to have a personal relationship with all these people. Who the fuck is you fooling, Fanny? You ain't fooling nobody, Fanny. Talking about you consider yourself having a personal relationship with all these damn people. Stop it. Stop it.
Personal relationship with him as we speak right now. I don't think that's what you're asking. I think that's what you're asking.
When did your romantic relationship with Mr. Wade end? Did it end?
Me and Mr. Wade,
When did it end, bitch? When did it end? This is simple. You said it ended this year. You said it ended this year, Fanny. Bitch, you ain't had too many boyfriends. You ain't had too many men. You said it yourself. I don't date that much. So, Fanny, when did this shit end? You said this year. Motherfucker, it's what it is, February? It's the middle of February. This is live, y'all. This happened live today. You just said it ended this year. This is 2024. We in the second month of February. Now you don't know when the fuck it ended? Cut the cap. Come on, Fanny. You're looking bad out here now. You were looking good at first. Now the lady got you fucked up. She got her fucked up. She got her fucked up.
we are good friends.
We are good friends.
My respect for him has grown over these 7 weeks of attacks. We are very good friends. I think, but for these attacks, it would have been a friendship that, as life goes, you would have stopped having. I think that you have cemented that we'll be friends till the day we die.
Let's.
Could we just have an answer to the question?
I can handle Mr. Seda.
Hey, the white folks don't want to hear that bullshit, Fatty. They said, can we just have her answer the damn question? We don't want to hear all that bullshit. Yeah, Fanny, we don't hear that bullshit.
Hey, bro, come on now, dog. Come on, man.
Yeah, boy, she gave the most bullshit answer she could possibly think of. They said, when did y'all break up? Well, we still friends. She look like she got dumped, y'all. Fanny got dumped. She thought that this man was about to leave his wife. But all this bullshit, nah. She ain't get no husband out the deal. She ain't getting no husband out the deal. She getting the, damn, Fanny was a side piece, man. She talking about her daddy would be disappointed about her not keeping cash at the house. Nah, your daddy gonna be disappointed that you just got exposed as the most successful side piece in the country. Like, that shit crazy. You just got exposed as the side piece. I ain't lying.
She asked about a personal relationship.
She asked when the romantic relationship ended. That's the question.
It's sometime in, I'd say late summer of 2023. So I don't believe me in, this is what you're really asking about.
Late summer of 2023, is that July, June, July, August? When the last time y'all fucked? How about that? How about that? That what the white lady really want to ask. When the last time y'all fucked? If she would have asked that, Fani would have lost her damn mind. Yeah, Fani would have lost her damn mind if she would have asked that.
This is the salaciousness of all of this, right?
No, I'm just asking about your romantic relationship. When you stopped dating.
I think that me and Mr. Wade, so he's a man, he probably would say.
He's a man. He probably would say, oh, man. Oh, man. Girl, you should have known when to shut the fuck up. She's showing a little. They bumped heads because both of them are alpha. You can tell.
June or July. I would say we had a tough conversation in August.
She say, he would say, as a man, June or July, but she would say they had a tough conversation in August. What the fuck did that mean? What the fuck that mean? Had a tough conversation in August, but he a man. So he would say probably in July. So he already was done with that shit in July. She ain't want to get the fuck on. Was that the case?
So that men in relationships at the end of physical intimacy, women in relationships when that tough conversation takes place.
And where,
Hold on, she just used a whole bunch of big ass words. And she talking about the intimacy and yeah. She was still fucking, but yeah, he had that cut off a couple of months before that.
when did he come to, I guess, the condo? I'm not sure what you called it, condo apartment. Would he come and stay at that condo or visit you there? I'm sorry, visit you there.
What condo, what apartment? I want to be clear.
So not your house. I know you classified one as house and one as condo, so I'm trying to use those terms.
So, but there's been more see, what you don't understand is because of this case, I got to move. And so I need
if you could ask a more precise question.
Yes, please, give me the time period.
Mr. Wade visits you at the place you laid your head.
When?
Has he ever visited you at the place you laid your head?
So let's be clear, because you lied in this. Let me tell you which one you lied in. Right here. I think you lied right here. No. This is the truth, Judge. And it is a lie. It is a lie.
Ms. Willis?
You see.
Mr. Sena, thank you. We're going to take 5 minutes.
Thanks.
That woman asked a simple ass question, but she blew up the whole fucking court.
May I go to the bathroom?
Wow. So yeah, y'all, they had to go take a little break or whatever. So let me fast forward past the break. It ain't too much left. It's enough to be entertaining though. And we still got a good bit to go, but let's do it. State of Georgia Constitution.
On the record, before we proceed though, I'll advise everyone here, this being a room mostly full of lawyers who have spent their lives in a courtroom. We all know what professionalism looks like, what decorum looks like, and devoting ourselves to the rule of law and proper advocacy. I would urge everyone to keep those principles in mind, starting with the fact that we won't talk over each other. And from there, we'll get through this. Ms. Merchant.
Thank you.
Now, who do you think the judge is talking about, y'all? Y'all put in the chat who y'all think the judge talking about. I'll give my opinion. I think he's talking about Fani, but I'll let y'all tell me who y'all think he's talking about.
Judge, how often did Mr. Wade visit you at a place where you were living between 2019 and 2021?
So you want to start with the lie that he lived with me in South Fulton in 2019, a home he's never been to? That's one lie you told in your document. No.
Judge, I didn't ask her about that.
Ms. Merchant, I want you to ask a very precise question. I think she's saying and answering that he did not live with her. So why don't we break that up into smaller parts?
And I didn't ask about living.
But you put in your, while we're talking about professionalism, while we're talking about professionalism, she put in 3 different documents he lived with me.
Full opportunity to respond.
In 2000.
Damn. Oh, that's why she pissed off. That's why she walked her ass up there to that courtroom. Cause she had them put in them documents that Fani lived with her. I mean that the dude lived with her. Oh hell nah. Fani was like, hell nah. I'm going up there to talk about this shit my damn self.
In 2019.
He's never been to South Fulton. In 2019, I lived in South Fulton. He has never been to my residence in 2019, ever, not once.
In 2019, he's never been to your residence, any place.
I lived in my home in South Fulton before I started getting the threats that were here, a house I paid for with my own sweat and tears. I'm no longer able to live there. But in 2019, I did. And in the 2 months of 2019 that I knew Mr. Wade, 3 months, the beginning of October, all of November, and all of December, Mr. Wade never came to my house in South Fulton. Let me help you out. I lived there in 2020. He never came to my house in 2020, let alone live with me, as you put falsely in these documents. In the first 3 months of 2021, when I could still enjoy my home, Mr. Wade never came to South Fulton, and it is certainly a lie that he lived with me.
So in 2020, so you said 2019, 2020, did Mr. Wade ever visit you at a place that you resided?
He has never been to my home in South Fulton. 2020 was before I knew that a phone call was going to be made and I was going to have to abandon my home. As a result thereof, he never visited, lived at, came to, or has seen South Fulton.
You qualified that with your home in South Fulton.
That's where I lived in 2020.
2020, did he ever visit you at a place that you resided?
Okay. I don't understand. You're going to give me guidance. In 2020, I lived in South Fulton. Okay. That's the only place I lived in South Fulton. That's before I had to abandon my home, Judge.
All right.
And at my home in South Fulton, he never came there, okay? So if you don't come someplace, you can't live there.
Ms. Willis, I'm going to have to caution you. This is going to be my first time out.
Boy, this is what that man talking about. Didn't that man say shit about talking over people and all that shit like that? Damn.
To caution you, we have to listen to the questions as asked. And if this happens again and again, I'm going to have no choice but to strike your testimony. So, we need to break this down. Ms. Merchant's question, I believe, was asking whether you lived anywhere other than South Fulton.
I did not live anywhere but South Fulton, Georgia in 2020. That is before I began my prosecution of this case, and it was my plan to only live there.
Did Mr. Wade ever visit you at the condo that you leased from Miss Yurdi?
He visited that condo, yes.
He did.
Yes.
Did he ever spend the night at that condo?
No.
Just visited.
Yeah, but he did visit for sure.
Did you ever go out to eat together, other than the lunches you talked about,
In
during
2020?
2019 or 2020?
I would think that we probably went to lunch, but it wouldn't have been, let me think, 2019. I'm going to say,
Her voice starting to crack up now. So she came in here like a raging bull, but now she done calmed down. They done went on all these breaks and all this stuff like that. And now, you know, other than being defensive and snappy, she done made herself vulnerable now. Now I don't know if she's thinking clearly. Let's see.
I don't know. I'm going to say we probably broke bread someplace in 2019. I don't remember it, but it seems.
Broke bread? Broke bread? All right, cool.
Like we would have broke bread sometime in 2019. So I'm going to say yes, although I have no recollection. But it seems to me like I go out to eat and drink with pretty much everyone, so I'm going to say yes.
So outside of the vacations that we've already talked about, did you ever go out to dinner with Mr. Wade?
I mentioned to you that
I'm going to object as to what time period. Like we're asking very vague questions. I thought we were treating the witness as hostile under 611. We're no longer doing that. So we're going to go back and forth. We need to be more specific with our questions if we're going to treat her as hostile.
All right, Ms. Merchant, it's not so much. I think you can elect between leading and open-ended questions, but I think we are still wondering about, and I think we need to get back on track of focusing on the financial benefit or the relationship.
And my next question about if you did go out to dinner, who paid when you went out to dinner?
He paid, I paid.
You both paid.
Okay, so let me be real clear. We didn't say, oh, the bill is $100.
Oh, what the hell? What the hell, Fani? Damn, did this shit just start over?
Can I take it? Mr. McCullough, on behalf.
Your Honor,
And
I'd
so
like to get back to some questions.
Really not more than two-ish. I want us to be clear.
2022.
Prosecutors, $1,000 an hour. They did what.
All right, I want to see.
I think I can recall him at $750 a. I think I can recall. Ooh.
For today, that's.
I understand her answer. Eating or
When I chose him in November, to
year to con.
Whether your father was not staying there.
That over and over again. Not an employee, and he was me.
That's the qualification you give an employee that works there.
Said his motion was racially motivated, not wanting to go through the personal financial cost. And I know when you bet.
My bad, y'all. I don't know if I did something. Well, I know I ain't do nothing. It just skipped some kind of way.
That was cute, but I didn't give him money outside in a live with me, as you put falsely in these documents. In the first 3 months of 2021, when I could still enjoy my home, Mr. Wade never came to South Fulton, and it is certainly a lie that he lived with me.
So in 2020, so you said 2019, 2020, did Mr. Wade ever visit you at a place that you resided?
He has never been to my home in South Fulton, my home. As a result, has seen South Fulton.
You ever visit you at a place that
in 2020, I lived in South Fulton.
Okay.
And at my home someplace, you can't live.
Caution, we have to listen to the questions after for the strike.
20. Only lived there.
From Miss together, other than the lunches you talked about.
Let me think. 2019. I'm gonna say. I don't know. It seems like we would have broke bread sometime in 20. Seems to me like I go out to eat and drink with pretty much.
Did you ever go out to dinner with Mr. Wade?
I mentioned.
Vague questions. I thought we were treating. We need to be more.
We are still wondering about.
And my next question about if you did go out to dinner.
All right, here we go.
When you went out to dinner.
He paid, I paid.
You both paid.
Okay, so let me be real clear. We didn't say, oh, the bill is $102. You give $51, I'll give $51. I don't operate like that with my girlfriends. I don't operate like that with anyone. He caught the bill, I caught the bill, whomever.
Did you ever pay him through Cash App?
No.
You only ever paid him through cash?
Well, yes. We're talking about, I'm very confused
You've
now.
never
like,
given Mr. Wade money through Cash App?
No.
The only money you've ever given him outside of a contract is cash.
I didn't give him money in a contract, so that was cute, but I didn't give him money outside in a contract. What happened, no, we're going to answer it since you said it. He worked.
Because she definitely trying to ask some questions to make it sound like Fani was sugar mama. And like she was really doing some sugar mama shit. Like, how many times you didn't give him some money? You gave him some money when he did this. You gave him some money when he did that. How many trips you took him on? Yeah, what you bought him? You bought him some new J's? What you did for him? You took him all around the world?
He worked more hours than he was paid, and the county paid him for the work that he did. So don't be cute with me and then think that you're not going to get an answer.
And I will ask you about the contract in a minute. I asked you about cash. Did you ever pay him anything? And I'm trying to qualify my questions. I'm not talking about the contract with Fulton County that was paid. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about outside of that. Did you ever pay him anything other than cash?
I've only given him cash a few times in the course of...
Cash and ass? The fuck you talking about, girl? She paid that nigga in ass and paid that nigga in cash. Best two combinations. What more does she need to pay in? What more do you need, ma'am? But I guess you gotta have Fani admit it. Damn, this is embarrassing, Fani. Cause you look like you just let a nigga swindle your ass out of the best job in the world. And that's prosecuting the ex-president for smashing your lonely ass. Man, Kevin Samuels would be having a motherfucking field day right now. Man, shout out to Kevin Samuels. Boys, this would be a kept out, man. I would be in the chat right now listening to his evaluation on this situation right here. Exactly what that man be talking about.
What we're talking about.
So you've
if
never
we
used
would
a
go to
credit
dinner,
card?
Let her finish her answer.
if we would go to dinner, I wouldn't give him cash because he paid for dinner or I paid for dinner.
Yeah, she gonna give him ass then. Yeah, if he paid for dinner, I paid for dinner, as long as we get drunk. And shit, one of us gonna get the room. Or if we both got the room, yeah, the other one just slide to the room. Shit.
I've given him cash only a few times in life, probably 4.
Okay.
Probably the most money I've ever handed him is $2,500. The least amount of money I've handed him, probably between $500 and $1,000.
You never wrote him a check?
Ma'am, I don't have checks.
Okay. So you have no proof of any reimbursement for any of these things because it was all cash, right?
The testimony of one witness is enough to prove a fact.
So my
Are you
question was,
telling
do
me
you
that
have
I'm
any
lying
proof?
to you? Is that what you're intimating right here?
I'm asking if you have any proof that you paid him any of these
The
monies.
proof is what I just told you.
You have no written proof. Is that correct?
So I have some, probably some transactions like in Belize. I probably spent $500 on my card in Belize. I spent $900 on each of our tickets to go to Belize. I did the $700. I probably got some minor expenses in Aruba that would be on a card. But for the most part, for those trips, other than, so the 2 cruises, I gave him money for those before we ever left because they were pre-booked. Let me answer.
Well, the question was if you had any written proof. And so
I've answered you that I've had written proof.
We can move to the next question if you've answered if you had any written proof, and that was my question.
I want to make sure that we're clear that for the 2 cruises,
Judge,
and that's
I
the
asked if
cruise
she gave
plus
him written
Aruba.
proof.
We're not going to talk over each other. Ms. Merchant, she answered your question, so we can ask the next question. Ms. Willis and Ms. Cross will have plenty of opportunities to let you clarify your answers when it's her turn.
Thank you, Judge. Knowing your role as district attorney, You know that public funds are scrutinized and money is scrutinized and things like that. You understand.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
You understand you're under a microscope. You have reporting requirements, all of those types of things. You have no record other than your testimony of the money that you've given Mr. Wade.
You've already asked that question. Let's keep going.
Yeah, I asked that question, but she really want to get that question clear. She just want to make sure it's clear. You ain't got no record of nothing of you reimbursing this man after all of these trips. Now, she got a solid point right there. You ain't going to tell me you done reimbursed this man back thousands and thousands of dollars, but it's never been through Cash App or any of that shit. You just been carrying around $2,500 here, $1,500 there, all that shit, all the taxi cabs and all that. You pay everything cash. You telling me you going to foreign countries and you carrying around all this cash on you? Yeah, okay. Which it could be. You might be right, but I don't know.
When you took office, you had a tax lien of $4,600. Did you pay that with cash when you made that tax lien whole?
She put her business out there. You had a tax lien. Did you pay that with cash? Since you're paying everything cash. Cash lady. Boy, she fucking with Fanny. She trying to get Fanny a job. That's what it is. See, why you fucking around, Fanny? That white woman wants your job. She feeling like nigga YSL. She'll have them niggas by the balls right now. While you fucking up, looking all crazy and shit, fucking on the job.
I probably paid through however you pay.
Okay. So, but you were saying that you had amounts of cash. You still had that lien in 2022 when you were dating Wade and going on these trips. So the cash that you gave him, that could have been used to pay this tax lien off?
What? Ha! Got him! Got him!
Damn, Fanny. Why you going on all these trips? Why you didn't use some of that cash you had stashed to pay your motherfucking taxes? Fanny? Oh, man, now Fanny now you want to roll your eyes and all that shit. Shots fired. Oh, shit.
Run, bitch! Run!
Oh, Fanny, you should have stayed your ass at that office.
You gonna tell me how to pay my bills?
You gonna tell me how to pay my bills? That's how she came back. Oh, man. Yeah, you lost that one, Fanny. Damn. That's your comeback? You gonna tell me how to pay my bills? Nah, everybody pay their bills like that before you start going on trips and shit. Why you ain't pay your motherfucking lien? What you doing going on all these trips? You got all this cash on the side. You got all this cash on the side. Why you ain't paying that lien?
It's not relevant as it relates to why we're here today.
Ms. Merchant, are you trying to establish that she was insolvent in some way?
I definitely was trying to establish that she did not have these mass amounts of cash that she's talking about, yes.
Trying to establish your ass capping like a rapper. Girl, you worse than motherfucking these rap niggas.
All right. Re-ask the question.
You had a tax lien in 2022, $4,600.
Did you say I did?
And you did not use this cash that you had to reimburse Mr. Wade to pay that off, correct?
No.
Okay.
I went shopping too when I didn't pay it off.
And you talked about, you gave a lot of interviews to some authors of a book called Finance, right?
I would not characterize it as a lot. I probably have spoken to them 2 or 3 times.
My question is relevant as to
I think it's already come up. That finances are discussed in the book. I'll overrule that.
Thank you.
Ms. Wilson, you can continue your answer.
What came up with Mr. Wade as it relates to hearsay statements that he was asked about in relation to what Ms. Willis may or may not have said in relation to an author. So it's not relevant to the testimony that's occurring at this time.
I think Ms. Merchant has said that inside the book, she also makes a statement as to her own finances, and that's at issue.
So you gave interviews to the authors of this book, correct?
Once or twice.
Okay. And
3 times, just to be comprehensive. I don't know if it was 3 times, 2 or 3 times, I think.
you were quoted in the book, and I will give you a chance to say if this is a misquote. You were quoted, when they asked you about if you wanted to run for office for DA, you were quoted, "I really don't want to be financially effed up again." Do you remember saying that?
So what that refers to,
My question first is if you remember saying that.
I remember saying something similar to that, but I would like to be able to explain what that's in
fine.
reference to. That's not in reference to anything else. It was a huge sacrifice to be district attorney in Fulton County, huge. I was doing just fine. I had a municipal court judgeship that was paying me $100-something thousand a year, and like you got to show up twice a week. Easiest thing I've ever done in life. I also had private clients.
Damn, you ain't have to fucking bust it out that the government is paying you to pretty much not do shit, show up 2 times a week, and now you shitting on a damn district attorney job. Way to go, Fani. Damn, girl, you exposing yourself. You should know how to shut the fuck up. You're talking too damn much.
That were paying me to represent them. So I was able to have a law practice and that. Raising 2 daughters by myself, there were times in life where things were hard.
Nobody want to hear that motherfucker. These white folks don't want to hear the single mama story. These white folks practice goddamn having wife and kids and keeping the family together. That shit don't work in the courtroom, man. White man like, we don't give a fuck. Now you out here fucking married men.
And so I was telling people, I don't really run for DA. I don't want to run for DA. I'm in a good position right now. I got this easy job that I enjoy, being the chief judge of the city of South Fulton. I'm making money at the law firm, and I'm not sure that I want to make this sacrifice. And why does it always have to be me? Eventually, I prayed. I think that I was the appropriate person. I think that I did that. So when you're referring to that, what I'm...
This kind of telling me maybe she was put in that position to do what she's doing right now. And I think they felt like if they prosecuted Young Thug and they prosecute Trump, which one you will pay more attention to? Which one would you pay more attention to?
I'm saying is, why should I make a sacrifice again? And what I was not talking about is being district attorney. Once you get elected district attorney, you're in a fine financial position. I make over $200,000 a year. What I was talking
Boy, she out here flexing on the motherfuckers.
about is I ran for judge. When I ran for judge, I took $50,000 of my personal money out of my retirement, and that money ended up being lost. And I know when you bet on yourself, you're going to have to bet money on yourself. And so what I was talking about was not wanting to go through the personal financial expense of running for office. By no means did I think that I was going to be financially in a bad position once I won. Let's talk about what I was up against, because it's important to understand that comment. I had a district attorney who had been here for 24 years. People, it's very relevant as to what my mindset was about this. So I'm trying to answer your question. So what I was saying is
Tailored solely to finance.
Right, but it is about my finances. If nobody put me in this seat. So I had already run for office once. I had spent $50,000 of my own money running, and it was vamoose, nothing. And so when I'm talking to those offers, I'm talking about the contemplation of the sacrifice of the run, not the sacrifice of once you become DA. The odds were against me. I was likely going to lose the election based on who I was running against. So that needs to be in the appropriate context.
Isn't it true that the authors also wrote, and you can dispute this if you'd like, that you were broke after that race?
The 2018 race.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a hard race. I wasn't broke like I didn't have any. So broke is relative to depending where you are, but that hurt to lose that $50,000. So I'm sure my mental mindset was like, I just gave $50,000 away.
Right. So they characterized it from their conversations with you that you were broke, you had poured your own money into the campaign, and you weren't able to pay your own bills because of your clients couldn't pay their bills to you, and you had a paltry array of family and asset forfeiture cases. It says you were trying to make it month to month. Is that an accurate depiction of your financial situation at that point?
I would want to read that, but I don't remember clients not.
Damn, they done put you out here, Fani. You ran for that office. You spent all your money. You bet on yourself, and you went broke. Who did you sell your soul to? Who did you sell your soul to get yourself out of that deep ass hole? You was fucked up. Oh man, this white girl exposed it funny, y'all.
Not being able to pay their bills, or
may I approach Judge?
You can't.
You may.
Page 13.
I have not read this book. So information about that.
Broke, and that you had clients that weren't able to pay their bills.
Can you show me where that is? Because this is where you put the tab, so that's what I read.
Broke, couldn't pay their bills.
Yeah, that.
Hey, that bitch say broke, can't pay their bills. That's you, bitch. Why you over here capping, talking about how you make all this motherfucking money? Right here, bitch. Broke, can't pay their bills. Let's go back again. For the bitches in the back.
I just asked about if what they represent from their interviews with you, that you were broke and that you had clients that weren't able to pay their bills.
Can you show me where that is? Because this is where you put the tab, so that's what I read.
Broke, couldn't pay their bills.
Yeah, that. I'm sure I characterized myself as broke as leaving that $50,000. I don't know that I had her nascent law practice at paltry array.
Well, you just
I didn't have.
Ms. Merchant.
I thought I had a law practice. So this is not correct. I'm sure it's just I didn't have any asset forfeiture cases. So I had one case where they had took one of my clients' money at the airport. I don't know if that's what they're I don't know. Paltry array. I did have family law cases. I guess that's what they're talking about. And clients who couldn't pay their bills ain't clients. So no.
So my question was just if this was a fair and accurate representation where it says you were trying to make it month to month at that point.
No, I don't think that is actually a fair and accurate representation, but I am certain that after the 2018 election, I'm still not really happy about having given up that $50,000.
You know when you paid your tax lien?
I don't.
You don't? Do you know if you paid it?
I know I've paid some taxes. I don't know. I don't want to speculate.
Did you tell anyone at Fulton County Board of County Commissioners about your relationship with Mr. Wade?
No.
Did you disclose your relationship to anybody at Fulton County?
No, I don't think so.
And as the chief law enforcement officer of Fulton County, I assume that you're familiar with the county code and ordinances?
I've said we're not going to cover that in this hearing, Ms. Merchant.
I'm sorry, Judge?
We said we weren't going to cover the county regulations.
Okay, and I won't. Let me ask you this then. So are you aware that you're required to disclose any relationship with someone that you contract with in Fulton County?
I'm going to object to the court's prior ruling that you made this morning.
Would this be different because it's a potential for impeachment?
Yes.
What did you ask me?
Ms. Merchant, if you could re-ask the question.
Okay. Are you aware that Fulton County requires you to disclose any relationship with someone that you're doing business with?
I'm not aware, and I know often that things are confused with state constitutional officers in county, but I'm not aware.
Okay. So it's your understanding.
Stop your damn lying. Stop your damn lying. You are not going to be the district attorney of what the fifth biggest, what Atlanta is about the fifth biggest city in the country, and you ain't aware of some shit like this. I'm aware of that.
That you don't have a duty to disclose the
She's
relationship.
answered that question. Let's keep going.
Did you keep track of this cash that you paid him at all?
What are you talking? I don't understand.
Did you keep track? Did you keep a ledger? Did you keep track of it?
So I've only given him cash, as I mentioned, 3 or 4 times. There's no ledger. This is friends handing money off to each other.
So the answer is no, you didn't keep
And I
track.
think you've already asked whether there was any written proof whatsoever, and she's
Yes.
answered that.
Okay.
So we've covered this. Let's move on.
Who are you referring to when you suggested that Mr. Roman's motion to disqualify was racially motivated?
We already said we're not talking about the forensic misconduct that's been alleged.
And
And just so the record is clear, I don't believe I said that his motion was racially motivated, so I don't want that to stay there. I've never said his motion was racially motivated, so that should not be
Ms. Willis,
true.
I
if
think
she
it would
wrote
be
that.
best if we don't need to go down that road. We're going to save that for argument.
You once said that you would not engage with a personal relationship with anyone that worked for Fulton County. Is that correct?
An employee?
Anyone that worked for Fulton County.
I think I said an employee.
Okay. So that's the qualification you give an employee? You wouldn't?
I think that's the statement that I made, so.
Oh boy, she's starting to get slick now. Yeah, Fani, come on now. Your credibility slipping. This white girl exposing you. Cause she asking you the right question and you is lying. And you is deflecting. And you trying to be slick and not answer the questions directly. You said that you wouldn't be fucking nobody that worked for you. But you was fucking somebody that worked for you. Yes, and that white girl exposing you. That's what she just said.
We're going to save that for argument.
You once said that you would not engage with a personal relationship with anyone that worked for Fulton County. Is that correct?
An employee?
Anyone that worked for Fulton County.
I think I said an employee.
Okay. So that's the qualification you give an employee? You wouldn't?
I think that's the statement that I made, so if you want to quote me accurately.
So it's your position because Mr. Wade was not an employee? Or it's your position he wasn't an employee, correct?
Mr. Wade is not an employee, and he will tell you that over and over again.
Just one moment, Judge. I'm sorry, the statement, just so I make sure I accurately quote you. What you said was you won't sleep with people who work under you. Do you not consider Mr. Wade working under you?
I consider Mr. Wade to be an agent.
Agent?
Yeah,
All right.
an appointee is what I really think of him as.
Your point, whatever merit it has, Ms. Merchant, is on the record. Next question. All right. Do we need any moments in a minute? Mr. Sadow.
Yeah, I'm ready to go, Your Honor.
All right.
Sir, without having to explain, okay?
Yes, sir. My comprehension skills are pretty good, so we should do all right.
We shall soon see. If I heard you correctly, you moved into what I will refer to as the Yurti condo in either March or April of 2021. Is that correct?
Sometime between late February and April, yes. I don't. Just so we're clear, yes. But in that time period, you're in the ballpark. We're in the ballpark.
And is that Yurti condo, would you say that it is in Hapeville?
It is in Hapeville, yes, sir.
And you moved in there for safety reasons?
My father, yes, I moved in there. We were concerned. My father was terribly concerned about me continuing to live at the house. And so they were clear. People came to my house at 5 o'clock in the morning about the police brutality cases, saying I was going to have a wake-up call. There were security threats due to gang cases, and there were concerns due to that was at the very beginning of this, looking into that. And so for all of those reasons and what was happening, my father wanted me out the house, and begrudgingly I left.
Okay, so the answer to the question was yes for safety reasons, correct?
Those were all of the things that caused the safety concerns. I'm sorry.
I'm not questioning whether they are or are not safety concerns. I just asked that you moved into this condo, the Earz condo,
Right.
for safety reasons, right?
Yes.
Okay. At the time that you moved into the condo, be it from February to April of 2021,
Yes.
was your father still living in your house?
Right, because my father.
That's
yeah.
all I ask you.
But I get to explain the answer, sir.
I don't know if there's an explanation.
She want to explain every goddamn thing. Come on, Fani. You done been in the courtroom too many times to sit in here and want to explain every damn thing. You'll think she never been in the courtroom a day in her life.
If I ask you, was your father still living at your house? The answer is either he can argue
So
anything. I'm going to ask.
To be able to explain why.
I'm going to.
So yes.
Stop testifying, okay? You'll have it not staying there at the time, and you're clarifying that in your answer as well. You can have a brief clarification, but it shouldn't be something that reaches well beyond the question. All right, Mr. Sadar, you can re-ask the question. We'll see where it takes us.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. Was your father still living in your house at the time you moved to what I would refer to as the Earz condo?
Yes, sir, he was due to his concerns related to COVID.
Okay. The safety concern was that there was potential danger at your house. Is that correct?
Yes, my address had been exposed, so yes, there was concerns about potential danger at my house.
Okay, so anyone staying at your house in the time period after you went to the Earz condo was still in danger, correct?
Yeah, well, no, he did.
I think you have to. It's your attorney, Ms. Willis. Sorry, Mr. Bott, your objection is speculation.
Yes.
To the question of
Speculation.
whether someone was still in danger at her condo.
I can
Just let her answer the question.
Or Mr. Sadal wants to rephrase.
No,
I'm not sure.
I was able to
I've got
understand it.
I've got the objection, and then I have.
I'll withdraw the objection. We can move forward.
Okay.
So, and
Boy, she's so eager to goddamn get her point across. She like, fuck that. She ready to overrule the judge, all type of shit.
I don't remember the question, so I can answer it.
But you can now that the objection's been withdrawn. Can you try to answer that question?
Yes.
There's still a safety concern
I was-
for people staying at the house.
Yes, I was very concerned about my father still living at the house. However, if you have dealt with an older gentleman, he was not leaving the house, despite my urging him that I thought he should leave as well. He did not want to leave the house because he was particularly worried at his age about COVID. But that became, I don't want to say, I was not happy with that decision of my father's, but I can't ultimately make him leave. And he stayed there too long, in my opinion.
Okay, thank you. During that period that you left to go to the Earz condo, did any of your children stay at your house?
So I don't think that they were there at that point. Certainly my baby wasn't there.
I'm talking about this entire period. We're talking about, if I remember correctly, and you'll correct me, I'm sure, you said that you stayed there at what I would call the Earz condo until January of 2022, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm asking you in that period, which would be February to April of 2021 until January of 22, did any of your children stay at your house?
And you don't have to yell at me. I'm able to understand. So I would ask you to not yell at me. That being said, I don't actually expressly remember, but I can tell you since.
Hold up, man. Did she just, my bad, y'all. I had to step away for a quick second to go get me something to drink. Did she just tell him not to yell at her?
February to April of 2021 until January of 22, did any of your children stay at your house?
And you don't have to yell at me. I'm able to understand. So I would ask you to not yell at me.
He ain't yelling at her. Now she up here playing like a victim, y'all. Now she a little girl. I thought I missed something. This man ain't yelling at you, woman.
That being said, I don't actually expressly remember, but I can tell you since I have left my home, there have been times my oldest daughter came in. But I can't tell you with certainty the time window that you've said. if they did or not. And so I don't want to speculate to that, but there was some time that my oldest daughter came back. Whether it was that period or after I left the Yurty residence, I'm not sure, okay?
Okay, so if I continue to go into more detail on this, you're not going to be able to give me an answer of whether or not, in fact, any of your children were still at the house or stayed at your house during that time period, correct?
What I can give you clarity of, so that we are clear, is from the time I moved out in February-ish of 2021, after I left there was a time period that my oldest daughter came back. But if you're asking me, was it in that window or after, I just don't have a recollection of that, because, you know, your kids come and they go. And so I don't remember the specific time period, and I apologize for that.
Did your children ever stay with you at the Yurty condo?
Like maybe a night. Okay. Like for a girls' night or something, but live with, no.
Okay. Did anyone else stay with you at the Yurty condo, including Miss Yurty?
Never. Miss Yurty never lived in the condo. She met her husband and they moved. They weren't quite married, but they moved. Nobody ever lived with me in the condo. That was
my word was stayed, not lived. Stayed with you at the condo.
I guess I don't understand the distinction, but no one ever.
Bitch, you know what that man trying to say. Did old boy ever stay the night coming over there to clap them cheeks? Did you ever have anybody ever stay the night? You know that. But, you know, excuse me, I ain't mean to call you a bitch, Miss Fani. Don't come after me and my people. If you ever run across my videos.
I think my baby's my oldest child. I think she spent one night with me, maybe my oldest and my youngest. But I think that whole time I was in that place, other than that one night, I don't think anyone ever, this is a very lonely period in my life. I don't think anyone ever spent the night other than maybe one night. I remember a picture of my baby sitting on the couch in that place, and I'm thinking she spent that night. But just a very lonely time in life.
Okay, we'll stay with the lonely theme just for a minute. Did Nathan Wade visit you at the Yurty condo from the time you moved in until he was hired on November the 1st of 2021?
So I moved out of that condo, but during that time period, I'm sure he came to visit. I can remember us going, I think the restaurant's Lickety Split. I can remember him picking me up, going to Lickety Split and ordering some food and coming and sitting.
Lickety Split? What the hell kind of shit? What? All right.
At my table and eating. So I remember times that he visited me at that condo, yes.
Okay, could you give us an approximation of how many times Mr. Wade visited you at the condo between the time you moved in and prior to November 1 of 2020?
I don't think often, but I don't want to speculate.
Can we say more than 5, more than 10?
I'm going to tell you the problem I'm having here. Let's say more than 10, but I'm not sure that that's even accurate. He certainly has come and picked me up, gone to grab some food to eat. I don't remember him being in that condo a lot.
Okay, that's
I'm sorry. You want a number, and what I don't want to do.
Giving me your current and best recollection is all I'm asking for.
That's all I can give you, sir.
How many times did any of the prosecution team, how many times did Anna Cross come to that condo between the time you moved in and November 1st of 2021?
I don't think Anna's ever been to that condo.
What about any other prosecutor that's involved in the prosecution of this case?
I don't think any of them have.
Just Mr. Wade?
That's correct, sir.
Just the motherfucker you fucking. And ain't really nothing else you could say about that. They done wore our ass down. What more can you say now? That man coming up wearing your ass down. And that's how, man. We know how a lot of people get their position. But you got caught. Damn, man. You got caught.
but it was a lonely time.
Oh my God, yeah.
Oh my God, yeah, it was a lonely time.
That 2021, I have a lot of guilt about this time period in my life. Let me tell you why. But yes, it was a lonely time.
Okay.
I was very appreciative to the citizens for giving me this responsibility and this duty. But what I very, very quickly learned is that this is a very isolating job, and 2021 was a lonely time. I turned 50 in 2021. That's probably one of the worst birthdays I've ever had. I spent it alone. So I have a clear recollection of 2021 being lonely.
Okay. Did Mr. Wade ever visit you at the
Ain't nobody giving a fuck about none of that shit. She trying to give us this sad, lonely speech about how she was lonely. 2021. You wanted the job, right? Everybody was, oh, Fani Willis gonna, you know, the next best thing, right? You wanted the job, that's where you got it. Now you're lonely with a job. You didn't want to listen to Kevin Samuels. You probably talking all type of shit with Kevin Samuels was alive. Get you a dog or a cat. You put your career before a man. You left your man in 2005. Now what you gonna do? Now you're jumping around, goddamn fucking married man, fucking goddamn gangbangers, allegedly. Now look at you. And your husband probably went and got him another little tender thing. Damn, man. Where's Kevin Samuels when you need him? To break this shit down. Damn, Fani dropped the ball, y'all.
condo, the time period I'm talking about, prior to November of 2021, when Miss Yerty was at the condo?
So Miss Yerty and me we didn't share the condo at the same time.
So the answer would be no.
But we never stayed there together, so it's an impossibility.
It's an impossibility.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, Miss Yerty, because we need to get clarification on this. Miss Yerty stayed in that place. There may have been a time that me and Mr. Wade visited, like went and saw Miss Yerty, but me and Miss Yerty never lived there together. Just so we're clear.
Well, maybe that was clear, but I'm going to have to try again.
Okay.
Was Miss Yerty still living in the condo when you moved in?
Not a day.
Okay. So what I'm talking...
Another misrepresentation in this. We never lived together. I never lived with Miss Yerty.
My question, though, I'm trying to understand
Okay.
that after you moved in to the condo, Miss Yerty she was out of the condo, right?
She got a house.
That's all I'm asking. She's not in the condo.
We never stay, Miss Yerty and I never stay a day together in the condo. All of her stuff was out of the condo, and all my stuff, some of my stuff, not all of it obviously, was moved into the condo. So we never stayed there together. No, sir.
All right. So when I ask you about Mr. Wade visiting the condo, when you were staying there,
yes,
Miss Yerty wasn't staying there, correct?
that would be correct, yes.
She wouldn't be at the condo, correct?
No, she would not have been.
It would be you and Mr. Wade alone at the condo, correct?
Yes.
That is, there weren't any other witnesses to Mr. Wade and you at the condo, correct?
Yes.
No security.
Setting her ass straight on up.
None of your security detail.
I would object. She said it was just her and Mr. Wade.
You made your point, Mr. Sadow. Let's move on to the next one.
Yes, Your Honor. Who in the prosecution team, prior to, I guess, the motion being filed by Defendant Roman, who in the prosecution team knew of your personal relationship, and now I'm talking romantic, with Mr. Wade?
So, sir, I am extremely private.
All I ask is who knew. It's not, the answer is no one knew, that's fine.
No.
I ask you who knew.
Answer it and then explain, Ms. Willis.
I am very private. When I supervised Mr. Body and Mr. McAfee, they didn't know who I was dating, but I can assure you I was dating somebody. So that I kept something private, that's my private life, is not any mystery to anyone. It's like a woman doesn't have the right to keep her private life private. And I'm speaking on this because there have been all these intimations.
You still haven't answered the question, Ms. Willis.
I'm sorry, what was the question, then, Your Honor?
Is there anyone else who knew about it? And then you can explain.
So even the judge had to check her this time. Like, you still ain't answered the question. You over there doing all that extra. This was a very simple question. Very simple question. Does anybody else know that y'all was dating? Yes or no?
I don't know. I don't think so. I certainly didn't go out telling my business to the world.
Okay, so, the best of your recollection, you didn't inform anyone on the prosecution team that the individual that you had chosen to lead the prosecution team had a personal relationship with you.
So
Is that correct?
That's inaccurate. Your question is inaccurate.
What's inaccurate about it? Did you tell the people that worked for him that the person that you made the lead of the prosecution team that y'all was fucking? Did you tell anybody that the person that you giving this important job to that you was fucking him? Because that kind of would have made a difference.
Because you stated that the person I chose, we had a personal relationship. So we had a friendship. We have all these distinguishing factors. Remember, when I chose him in November of 21, first of all, let's get this straight. Mr. Wade was not actually my first choice.
Nah. You can't just switch. Oh boy, she playing this thing like a perfect politician. Y'all see how she just goddamn took that right turn? Y'all see how she just took that right turn? Hold on, let me rewind that back a couple of seconds.
On the prosecution team that the individual that you had chosen to lead the prosecution team had a personal relationship with you.
So
Is that correct?
That's inaccurate. Your question is inaccurate.
What?
Because you stated that the person I chose, we had a personal relationship. So we had a friendship. We have all these distinguishing factors. Remember, when I chose him in November of 21, first of all, let's get this straight. Mr. Wade was not actually my first choice. That's no insult to him.
Your Honor,
No, it is you, because of the way you phrased the question. You said, when I chose him, I didn't inform people of a personal relationship. We have defined personal as romantic. It is an inaccurate way to state the question.
Then I will certainly restate it so it is very accurate.
Okay, and please do not yell at me.
You hired Mr. Wade
Don't yell at
the
me,
first time on
motherfucker.
November 1st of 2021, correct?
November of 2021, yes,
Okay.
sir.
Your testimony is, whether one accepts it or not, your testimony is that at the time you hired Mr. Wade, there had never been a romantic relationship with Mr. Wade before you hired him, correct?
Yes, my testimony is that we were very good friends, but we're talking about sex, so let's just don't.
No, I'm not talking about, I'm saying romantic relationship doesn't necessarily have to be just sex.
Well,
It can
I
be
don't-
dating, it can be holding hands, it can be any of those things that one might call romantic. I'm asking you whether or not prior to November 1st of 2021, there was a romantic relationship with Mr. Wade. It's very simple. It's either a yes or a no.
I don't consider my relationship with him to be romantic before that. I'm not a hand holder, so no.
Okay, that's fine. Now, let's move beyond November 1st of 2020,
Yes.
2021, excuse me. If I understand your testimony, there was no romantic relationship with Mr. Wade until early in 2022, whether it be January or February or March, early in 2022, correct?
I would say sometime between February and April. Yes, sir.
All right. Now I'm asking you about that time period when it became.
So between February and April of 2022 is when they're claiming that they start messing around. Because they gotta say that. I think it's better for them to say that they start messing around after she gave him the position, even though both of them are fucked up. But it's wiser for her to say that she messed with him after and just say that they never spent any money of the government's money on personal trips. And just make it the only violation that they violated is by not disclosing that they had a relationship going on. So that's kind of like minimizing the situation. Because they probably been talking a little longer than that. But it's still, the moral part of it is she knew the man was married. So, you know, not only you getting looked at right now as you're possibly lying and you just fumbled, the biggest prosecution that could have catapulted your career to the next level, to fuck a married man. You know, you just kind of just let, you know, what could have been the biggest shit in your career.
Romantic.
Yes.
Okay?
Thank you.
Okay. You didn't see the need, if I understand, to tell any of the people on the prosecution team when you had established a romantic relationship with Mr. Wade that the lead prosecutor, that is the man that was basically giving orders to others, was dating or having a romantic relationship with you, correct?
I'm going to object to relevance at this point, Your Honor.
Not relevance. Just to prove or attempting to show that there is an issue on the credibility about the relationship. The failure to have informed anyone on her team that she was having a romantic relationship with the lead prosecutor, I suggest gives rise to that inference. That's the relevance.
The inference that
they were concealing this because it was not as it's been characterized to the court, and that in fact it started earlier than what they say.
All right, overruled. Mr. Sadow.
Oh shit.
I just want to make sure that we're clear.
They saying that shit started earlier than what they saying.
At least 2020, me and Mr. Wade were friends. At least that time period.
Okay.
So they're trying to claim from 2020 to 2022 they were just only friends. But in 2022 is when they hooked up. That must be the story they cooked up together when they was alone before they came in here. Cause they probably can't prove nothing before then. Yeah, they can't prove shit until then.
I'm not talking about.
So no. I want to be clear because my credibility is being evaluated here, right? We were friends. We hung out prior to November of 2021. In November of 2021, I hired him. I do not consider our relationship to have become romantic until early of 2022. Because I don't know a date and time, I'm saying sometime between February and April of 2022, and very early April of 2022, because I know that trip that I discussed with you was like the first week of 2022, that the relationship had become romantic. I hope that answered your question, but I can't have it where, you know, we're saying something.
So that trip, man, that man ain't taking you to go see his mama the first time y'all go on a date. Y'all was already fucking. Man, stop it.
Differently.
All right, so you've established the timeline as you put it. The question originally was, at that time, did you tell any other prosecutors?
I never tell people at work who I'm dating.
All right, Mr. Sadow.
Okay. Did you take any trips to D.C. with Mr. Wade?
Never.
Did you take, okay, so you have no, what I would call personal trips or business trips to D.C. with Mr. Wade?
I never went to D.C. with Mr. Wade, personal, business, otherwise, never.
Okay, so.
I've never been in the District of Columbia with Mr. Wade, or Maryland, Virginia, the DMV as they call it.
So as I understand it, just to be clear, any trips that you would have taken to see D.C.
That was a pretty clear answer.
Huh?
That was a pretty clear answer.
No.
She just said no.
Twice.
So do you have a variation or something new to bring up?
I'll ask it and we'll see. Did you take trips to DC that were non-business during the time period that this case or this matter was under investigation?
I'm going to object as to relevance as it relates to the matter.
Or business trips.
This I asked her alone, whether she took.
Okay.
What's the relevance?
And what would be the relevance of that?
I'm trying to understand whether or not we have an ability to show a personal trip in which Mr. Wade is there at the same time. I understand her answer. Okay, I understand her answer, but we have documents, we have records that.
Your Honor, I'm going to object to the documents.
They got documents and
Well, this
records.
could be something that's maybe not they have.
That y'all motherfucking asses in Washington D.C. at the same time. So you get your ass up here line.
Been in D.C. at the same time. If you want to ask about that exact specific date, Mr. Sadon, you can do that.
I would reference to the court that that was not asked of Mr. Wade. Anything about any trips to D.C.
Sure. And so that's going to limit its merit and impact on credibility. So, Mr. Sadon, ask the question.
So
I understand your testimony is you never took a trip to D.C. with Mr. Wade.
That's correct.
Personal or business?
That's correct.
Were you ever in D.C. at the same time as Mr. Wade?
I was not.
On personal or business?
No, me and Mr. Wade have not been to D.C. at the same time. However, since Mr. Wade has been on this case, he's been to D.C. Since Mr. Wade has been on to this case, I've been to D.C. What has not happened is we have not been in the District of Columbia at the same time. Now, the only thing I'm not sure about with what you asked me is if I've been to D.C. personally, because I got a lot of personal.
Here come the bullshit. Here come the bullshit. But if she was on some real kind of criminal trial, she would be fucked up.
Friends in that area, but I know that I have been to D.C. I did an interview at Howard University. I went to D.C. for that. Seems like I've been to D.C. one other time. Oh, I went to D.C. for the Global Summit. Actually, yeah, those were two separate trips.
My next question is based on her opening the door, and therefore I'll just ask it, and Your Honor can decide whether or not it's appropriate. When you went to D.C., did you go to the White House?
I did not go to the White House.
No. Well,
apparently I'm going to get the answer anyhow.
There you have it. Next question.
Okay. You indicated your best recollection was that your relationship with Mr. Wade, the romantic relationship, ended, you left it in August of 2023. That sound right?
That's the hard conversation. That's not the.
We've covered this.
That's the hard conversation. What the hell is the hard conversation? I don't know. So they pretty much dated for about a year and a half, pretty much. That's what she's trying to say.
Next question.
And you characterize it as a tough conversation, correct?
Yes.
I'm not going to get into the conversation per se.
You should.
Well, if he doesn't want to, we won't go there. So, Mr. Sadon, next question.
She sound like she a little bitter. She want him to ask why y'all broke up. She want to tell him bad why they broke up. She ready to talk shit about that man.
You know, it's kind of hard to say no when you've got that opportunity. But all I'm going to say is, was it pre-indictment in this case?
So
we know the timeline that the indictment was delivered.
Well,
Well,
but
actually,
and so that we're
I'll give you
clear,
that.
the physical relationship ended pre-indictment.
And is that when you were talking about the tough conversation?
But I'm not sure that the tough conversation didn't happen until after, but the physical relationship. So I'm sure if you ask Mr. Wade, because he's a male, he would say we ended June or July because physical contact ended then. Just in my mind, being a woman, it's over when you have that like hard conversation. I just think women and men think differently.
And I think the answer, Mr. Sadon, to your question was she's not sure whether it was before or after the indictment.
Well, I'm not sure that was her answer, but let's see if I can get specific.
That is what I said. That's what I said.
I'll let you. Next question, Mr. Sadon. If you need to clarify.
Want to say one more? The romantic relationship ended before the indictment was returned. Yes or no?
To a man, yes.
To a man, yes. To you, no?
Oh shit. Hey, she up here playing games. She up here playing Queen Regina games right now. Talking about to a man, yes. To a woman, no. She got everybody fucked up.
Sit down. Please explain this.
And did the forthcoming indictment have anything to do with that? Or was it just a coincidence?
Let's go on and have the conversation.
I've just asked you whether or not it was a coincidence.
Had absolutely nothing to do with this. It's interesting that we're here about this money. Mr. Wade is used to women that, as he told me one time, the only thing a woman can do for him is make him a sandwich.
What? Oh shit. So now it's getting to the nitty gritty. This nigga said, only thing a woman can do for him is make him a sandwich. Damn. He don't want no coochie, he don't want no head, he don't want no nothing. Only thing she could do for him is make him a sandwich. That sound like a nigga that want a nigga. Listen, y'all. She been waiting for them to ask them what happened. She bitter as a motherfucker. That nigga dumped her. She been looking for a husband. This is why she did the side bitch role.
It's interesting that we're here about this money. Mr. Wade is used to women that, as he told me one time, the only thing a woman can do for him is make him a sandwich. We would have brutal arguments about the fact that I am your equal. I don't need anything from a man. A man is not a plan. A man is a companion.
Oh, man. Kevin Samuels would be going crazy right now. Y'all know I fuck with Kevin Samuels. I'm just saying, I love the entertainment of it. But this type of shit right here. A man is a companion. I don't need no man. Damn. She said they used to have brutal arguments about this shit.
And so there was tension always in our relationship, which is why I would give him his money back. I don't need anybody to foot my bills. The only man who's ever foot my bills completely is my daddy.
Is there anything else you would like to add to that?
No.
Sure.
But I'm sure we'll talk about it further.
No, we're not going to talk about it further.
All right, no back and forth. Let's stay down. Next question.
My next question is something that that has to do with what I've characterized as the church speech. Let me just tell you what the question is, because I know that's not something.
Preserve it for the record.
Huh?
You can preserve the question for the record, but then we'll move on.
That's correct. Thank you. When you gave what I've referred to as the Martin Luther King weekend church speech, you know what I'm referring to?
A great honor of mine. That's a historic African-American church. Yes, I do.
Okay. Did you have handwritten notes with you that you were reading from during the speech?
And on second thought, Mr. Sadal, because you might have a number of questions about this, why don't we just bullet point what you would want to cover on this to preserve for the record, and then we'll move on to the next topic.
Okay.
Since I had laid out before that the forensic misconduct isn't a
speech.
Well, no, we can do it in a bullet form.
Do that about, did she prepare the speech? Did she have notes on the speech? Did she read the speech? When did she do this? When did she write the speech? Who was she referring to when she was talking about others? Who was she referring to when she said they? Who she was referring to when she spoke in terms of their, that is,
I would love to answer those questions.
Well, Ms. Willis, you could certainly do that in some other format, but for today, that's what we decided we're not going to cover.
Who was she talking about that was playing the race card, and why she didn't tell the people at the church that she had had a personal / romantic relationship with the, all due respect the way it was characterized, the black man that she was referring to, and was the black man she referring to, was that Mr. Wade?
Okay.
That's that area of inquiry.
Noted for the record, Mr. Sadal. Next topic.
Okay. You have no records that with regard to cash payments,
Yes.
correct?
Mm-hmm.
Would your bank records reflect that you withdrew cash from your bank accounts during the time period of 2020, 2021, 2022, or 2023? I'm not asking you, I'm just asking whether they would reflect that you withdrew cash from any of your bank accounts.
So the exact amounts?
No, just
But yeah,
that you did.
Of course, I withdrew money throughout that time period, throughout my life. I've withdrawn money from the bank. Yes, of course.
Talking about cash from, that is, that you go to a
Cash,
bank
right.
or you go to an ATM and you take cash.
This right here, she about to fuck up because they gonna subpoena those bank records. You gonna have to show these folks where you done withdraw large amounts of money. And we can't be talking about no $100, $200 and you talking about you done saved up thousands of dollars and you got cash at the house. Where that money coming from? And two things could be right. Cause like somebody said in the comments, hell, she could have some old dope money. If she really was fucking with old boy back in the days or something like that. But you know, he been dead for what, about 8 years now. So even if she had some money for him, that shit probably gone by now. But where the hell you get all this cash from it, but you never withdraw money from the bank?
Out.
Either that way, or you go to Publix and you overpay, or you go to another store and you overpay. So yes, both through that, yes, of course they would reflect that at times.
Okay, and so those records, if we had them, would show that, correct?
That throughout the course of my life, I took out money.
I was very specific. I said
Yes, during the course
2020.
of that time period, I would have taken money out. Yes.
So, do you have a problem with?
I absolutely. Yes.
You don't want the bank records to be made available for the court and the court alone.
I'm going to object as to the relevance, and this has already been addressed earlier as it relates to other records. This is an improper line of questioning. He's doing it for the purpose of harassment, frankly, Your Honor.
I'm just going to sustain it on relevance. Mr. Sadow, if that's something you want to follow up privately, you can do that.
Okay. Last area, briefly.
Yes, sir.
You had contact with Mr. Wade in the year 2020, correct?
Ooh, I had some
You had contact
with Mr. Wade.
Would you explain when you say some contact? Please tell us, talking about 2020.
I had some contact with Mr. Wade in 2020. One of the reasons your allegations are so preposterous, or Ms. Merchants that you have joined, is...
Ma'am, I didn't ask you about the allegations. I asked you about your contact. That's all I ask you, okay? I appreciate that you want to say something, but I'm interested in, did you have contacts with Mr. Wade in 2020? And your answer so far has been yes, correct?
Very limited contact because Mr. Wade had a form of cancer that makes your allegations somewhat ridiculous.
And I do appreciate the
I'm
characterization.
not going to emasculate a black man, but I'm just telling you.
I'm sorry, what?
I'm not going to emasculate a black man. Did you understand that?
Oh shit. She pulled the race card out. Pulled the race card out.
All right,
Well, I don't
let's
think we
get
should
back on
discuss
track.
further.
Mr. Sadow, next question.
Trying to, Your Honor. Would you tell us on the occasions in 2020 that you had contact with Mr. Wade?
I'm sorry, I thought I had answered that. Yes, sir, there were times in 2020 I had contact, but 2020 was a year I was running for office. It was a year that he was going through some serious medical issues, and I did not have much contact, but I certainly had contact with him in 2020.
Did you go out to eat with him?
Maybe, probably.
Did you visit him in any location, his office, or did he visit you in your office in 2020?
Yeah, how many times that man bust you up in the office, Fanny? That's what he about to ask you.
I am sure I'm sure, ooh, that's a very good question. I'm sure he came to 750 in 2020.
750
was my office.
Okay.
Not often, but maybe once or twice. Maybe I went to his office once or twice, but maybe once.
And the purpose for going to his office would have been what?
Maybe we would have went to Mellow Mushrooms for pizza, or maybe he would have come for lunch. I'm sure we went by.
Hold on, what?
What?
That's like, come on now, girl. The longer you sit on this damn stand, the more it seems like you were sweet on this man. You had been working this man away. You know this man was married. You were trying to keep this man to forget about his wife.
By each other's office though, but not often, not a lot. We both grinding, trying to make a living.
You ain't want no man to goddamn you tried to prosecute YSL, and now all them niggas around town talking about how they gonna pull up on your ass. Now you wanted a man around. You was every woman by yourself until all the new goddamn all these gangbangers starting to look for your ass.
I understand what you've said about the cancer, and I'm not going into that. But when you were going out with him to restaurants, or when he would come to your office, right? Those were not sterile environments, were they?
Oh, very sterile, because it
The
was.
restaurants were sterile environments?
A lot of times we wouldn't eat there. We would pick up something and go in, but they were.
I'm listening to you. You pick up and take it to where?
Maybe eat at our office, but it.
Eat at your motherfucking office. Nah, nigga, y'all going to pizza and fuck, nigga. Y'all going to Netflix and chill. You done got caught, Fanny. Goddamn, Fanny. Y'all go pick up some pizza, and y'all going to have your personal relations. These folks got your ass red-handed.
It did not happen much. That's what I'm trying to explain to you.
It don't matter how much it happened, it happened. Y'all was fucking on the job. Right now, you're telling that y'all was fucking on the job.
And my office in 2020, nobody was coming in. I was stir crazy, so I would still go into my office. If you remember, when I started this, I said, I am not even sure if we came to each other's offices, but I am trying to be over cautious. So I think I can recall him at 750 a couple of times. I just think I can recall him at 750 once, but let's say twice. I have seen his office. I remember all the awards in the lobby, but I'm not sure in 2020 I went. I'm not even sure I went in 2020 at all. I just want to tell you yes, because I'm not sure. But I have a distinct recollection of him at 750. I actually don't have a distinct recollection of me at his office in 2020. But maybe I went to his office in 2020. Maybe.
Did you have ongoing phone conversations during 2020 with Mr. Wade?
Oh, yeah, I talked to, yes, absolutely. Yes.
Yes, no question about that.
No question, I talked to him on the phone in 2020.
I understood, and this is, maybe I was confused. The Belize trip was for
his 50th birthday.
His 50th birthday, and that was in
March. He turned 50 March 18th of 2023.
Ah, damn, girl, you know this man Zach's birthday? Oh, yeah. That just told a lot. She talked too damn much.
If you look at the dates of the trip, I think we were there about 6 days.
Boy, you took a nigga on a 6-day vacation for his 50th birthday. Fuck the man good and all, man. Just him, you, and the mama.
We stayed at 2 different locations.
And you paid for it?
100%. He said.
100%.
Not only, I paid.
Why your mortgage was behind, like that white lady said.
For the hotel, I paid for the flights. I had a birthday luncheon for him. I paid for massages. I paid for everything.
And
damn, oh sugar mama Fanny. Hey, look at her popping her shit. She over there popping her shit too. I pay for I pay for this. I pay for massages. I pay for
those payments. Be reflected on your credit card.
The cash.
You paid them in cash.
Cabs cabs. I was telling you all the different things.
I'm asking you whether or not those payments would be reflected on credit card bills of yours.
So there was about $500 that I think is reflected on a debit card. What my recollection is, I took about $4 in cash with me to that.
400 or 4,000?
4,000. But I remember I handed him 2,500, and then the rest was just the money we spent. I probably gave $300 or $400 to this guy who was a taxi driver.
But they're wondering, where can you show that you withdraw a total of $4,000 out of your bank account? How do you just got $4,000 laying around? You know what I'm saying? And, you know, in cash. But you can't show where you withdraw that out of your bank account. What you got going on?
He would drive us every day around the 2 or 3 days we went. Took him to eat like it was my trip money.
And you had, to be clear, to end this up, the 4,000 that you've just told us.
But I didn't give it all to him. Remember, I only gave the 2,500 to him.
I didn't ask you that. I was going to ask you that 4,000 is part of your, my words, cash hoard that you had collected over time.
Cash what?
Hoard, H-O-R-D-E.
Oh, I thought you said something different, sir.
No, I'm afraid I wouldn't say that. Any circumstances to you or in court.
All right, back on track.
So hoard, cash hoard debt.
I would not classify it in that way, but I have money at my house. Yes, sir.
And the money, when you had money at your house? I'm speaking too loosely.
I had money wherever I was staying. So I was not referring to my house in 750. I'm saying I had money wherever I was laying my head. Yes, sir. That was my fault that I wasn't clear.
Okay, so when you were at what we said the Yerty condo during the time period we've always discussed, that's where you would keep your cash?
When I stayed there, yes.
Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
All right, I want to see if we can get through a few more defense counsel possible before breaking for today. Mr. Stockton.
We almost done, y'all.
Madam District Attorney, I'm Alan Stockton. I don't think we've had the pleasure of meeting.
It's a pleasure to meet you, sir.
Madam DA, you described these various trips, and Mr. Sadow asked you about going to Washington. Did you and Mr. Wade go to New York?
I've gone to New York. I've gone to New York twice since I've been district attorney. I'm trying to think if it's 2 or 3 times. I went to do a domestic violence thing there for sure, and I was honored, and I went to the Apollo there. Those are the only 2 trips that come to mind. I went. He was not with me.
You also said that he was a world traveler and had been on many of the continents.
I've been to 6.
Have you been on any of those continents with him? Besides this one?
Where's Belize? What continent is that? I'm not being funny. I don't know.
Let's say, with the exception of
Belize with him. I've been to the Bahamas with him. I've been with Aruba with him. Don't embarrass me. I'm not sure what continents those are on. Whatever continents those are, that's where I've been. I'm sure if I gave it some thought, I would tell you. But whatever continents those are, that I've been to those locations, sir.
But not Australia or any other continents?
I don't even want to go to Australia. I do know he took a trip in December to Australia. I have no idea, you know.
Why you know where this woman husband going at all the damn time? Damn, but she know everything about this dude. I think she got a little too clingy.
I don't know anything about that trip.
When Mr. Wade began working with your office,
yes,
he had 2 other gentlemen that worked in his firm with him. Is that correct?
Yes, Terrence Bradley worked for him, and Chris Campbell worked not for him. They worked with each other.
Did you understand what their partnership arrangement was?
No.
Did he ever make you aware of how fees were divided or anything?
No.
Now, since you have been district attorney, the 2 gentlemen that worked with Mr. Wade and his firm, they also had contracts with your office. Is that correct?
I probably had 2. No, I don't.
Well, I don't know if we've covered this in Ms. Willis, but I still don't know what the relevance would be of her testifying to this.
But I've had about 10. Oh, I'm sorry. Do you want me to answer?
Let's figure
no?
this out.
Judge, respectfully, I think based on Mr. Wade's testimony, he had an interest in those contracts.
Sure. And then, but how's that been imputed to?
He had an interest in those contracts, so what he did is he talked his way up on them cheeks. Just like that white man say, Mr. Wade had an interest in them contracts. And Fani was trying to get her groove back. And it just happened to work out for everybody. The man was getting divorced. Fani ain't give a damn. She ain't get two shits. But anyway, y'all, I think we done got I'm gonna play about 5 more minutes of it, and we gonna wrap this up for the night. They gonna continue tomorrow, so I might just get it live tomorrow. To
Miss Willis.
I don't know if whether or not she knew she was giving him that benefit. That's what I was trying to explore.
Okay. Well, maybe we can start with that question, and then if she doesn't know about it, then the ins and outs of all the contracts wouldn't be quite as relevant.
Judge, to lay a foundation for that, though,
Let's see where it
respectfully, I
takes
need
us. Go ahead.
The two gentlemen that were in Mr. Wade's office, did they have what I think's been referred to as a taint contract?
So let me be clear, and I may get the names wrong. When I first became DA, the office was not properly staffed. And so I'm surprised any lawyer would take it, but I did a contract for like $60 an hour to help us out with first appearance. That lasted a few months. Okay, so I can't remember if Bradley or Campbell had that. I'm sure we can have records and I can tell you which one, but I just can't remember now. I liked their experience. Bradley had been a probation officer and a defense attorney. Campbell had been a police officer and a defense attorney. There's a reason I'm telling you this. Then that contract, like I said, it didn't last long. It was just, I was aggressively hiring. As soon as I got where I felt like I had first appearance, enough lawyers for that, I let them go. Then we had what's called a filter contract, but it was not filter for this particular case. I do have a lawyer who does the filter for this election interference case. When we're talking about filter, the contract they had that neither one of them has any longer, I now have another lawyer that does that for me. It was only for police brutality cases. It's for what I call so when I first got to be the DA, I had, the whole unit was called anti-corruption. It dealt with both elections and police brutality cases. I actually took a trip to Houston and visited the district attorney in Houston. They divided their work up, and I thought the way she was doing it was better than me. And so I made a civil rights unit. And so they did what we would classify as civil rights cases. Those are specifically the police brutality cases. When I first took over, I was told Paul had not filtered 5 cases. That was a joke. It ended up being...
All right, I think she's just rambling along. She's trying to steer the narrative and everything to try to keep off of them asking her ass any more questions about, the real points. Hey, how long was you sugar mama in this man? You know what I'm saying? How long was you courting this man? How long was you paying the lay? That's pretty much been the whole issue, man. But anyway, I think that's enough for the night. We can catch the rest of that tomorrow night, man. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button, man. I appreciate everybody that pulled up, kick shit with me tonight. I don't know what's going on with my avatar, my lips ain't moving and all that, but we'll be alright. So, but y'all have a good one. I'm gonna get out of here. It's getting late, but I'm glad y'all enjoyed it. What you say? Earz play video games. Everybody play video games, man. Yeah, let's follow the leader around here, man. Follow the leader around here. But it is what it is, man. What the hell you talking about? Steely J and KB paid to have his house blown up, but dumbass TJ screwed it up. Man, y'all got all kind of crazy shit going on. I don't know what y'all talking about. But anyway, man, y'all have a good night. I'm up out of here. Wick made 912 out your area. I'm gone.
about 100 miles, you can look and tell I be having it. Ever since I jumped off the porch, I took an oath to go after it. Guacamole, that fettuccine, in the kitchen with the stove heat. Water running, money coming, I'm moving up just like Georgia Weezy. People believe it, I'm certified. Hustle hard from 9 to 9. I done took about 100 losses, mother came up about 1,000 times. This right here, that real shit. Mid time of this bill is them niggas that they love to hate. They motivate me to get the cake. Still running that sack.
Breath, point them out, make them live what they rap. Big cap niggas ain't living like that. Do the most, get too close, you a ghost. Dope is the dope, you get more than a dose. Give all that I got till it ain't nothing left. I don't need no help, I could do it myself. I'm really a chef, cook it right out of left. Run up a check till I run out of breath. Point them out, make them live what they rap. Big cap niggas ain't living like that. Do the most, get too close, you a ghost. Dope is the dope, you get more than a dose. Give all that I got till it ain't nothing left. I don't need no help, I could do it myself. Niggas big cat like a Mexican Fiesta. Dope on the scale, you won't get no extra this way. Make your hoe do what the money say. Tell your old man he don't want it, babe. I just bought a new stick the other day. Put dope on the stove or microwave. The neighbors don't like the J, they keep calling. Come on, I'ma keep serving the dumb and defy the ranks. Shit smell like fungus. No Q and not just the city. Keep fuck up my business, I'm just being honest. Keep dealers and killers among me. Wrap your ass up like a mummy. Stand that little white hood and dip on her, I feel like OJ little homie. To the plug, the car, Malone. Send it to the Pope man. Freddie P fly higher than most, higher than most. Tribe did not see a ghost. 93 OG, it came from West Coast. Tied to your hoe, I just came from my throat. MOBB OG gang, oh let's go. Go take a seat, get at the kitchen, I'm cooking, keep whipping it. Long as promoters keep booking, I'm running it. You get it all till I'm done with it. Give me that reap on your block, you won't get it. Hell with the scale, got it booming like speakers. I know what I'm doing. Don't need no features, court dates and funerals, commas and numerals. Really a shell, cook it up right or left. Working my move, I need more than enough. These niggas bluff, they really not tough. Head first, running up a check till my heart start 3 point. Working on my shot, trying to get